Our next guest has spent the better part of a decade developing some of the most critically acclaimed franchises, and we're really pleased to welcome to the stage for the first time.
Stand by for an important announcement from the Aperture Science Emergency Surprise System. Deploying surprise in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Gabe Newell, and I work at Valve.
There used to be a couch here. You know what I realized recently? I am alone. Absolutely and utterly alone. No matter how many people enter my life at a certain point, they eventually all leave, and I end up right back here alone. Just me, my camera, and my copy of the Orange Box for the Xbox 360. Well, might as well play Portal again. Apparently, after the huge success of the first Portal game in 2007, Valve almost immediately started development on its sequel. But a game like Portal, a life-changing, genre-defining game, doesn't just come around every year or so. If you want to make a follow-up to one of the best games from a year stacked with them, you got a lot of work to do. And a lot of work was done, and then undone, and then done again. What if the game was set during the 50s and the Cave Johnson guy, we only saw his name scribbled in secret dens next to potentially pictures of him covered up by cutouts of cubes? Anyway, what if he became a robot? What if there's a completely new character that isn't Shell? The protagonist from the first game's name is Shell, by the way. But what if she was replaced with a character named Mel, who is basically just Shell, except white and blonde? Okay, that doesn't work. What if we take the co-op puzzle idea from the PlayStation port of Half-Life that wasn't available anywhere else and make the next Portal game about that? And what if, get this, the two playable characters would be Shell and Mel? I don't know how else to tell you this. We do not like Mel. She never stood a chance. They removed her from the game twice. What if we spent years and years on a mechanic that may or may not have something to do with cameras called f-stop until we inevitably remember that this game is supposed to be about portals? I have seen that image of classic animated Sonic leaning back talking about wanting shorter games with worse graphics just as many times as I've seen that Miyamoto image with a quote beneath it that says a delayed game is eventually good. But did he ever actually say that? Because there's a remarkably similar quote, but it's a little less fancy and marketable. And it goes, late is just for a little while. Suck is forever. But that line wasn't spoken by Shigeru Miyamoto. That was said by Gabe Newell, the president of Valve. Last video I kind of glazed Valve and put them up as a linchpin far above the other greedy companies for their business practices, but the truth is they aren't devoid of their own issues. Every major AAA video game company has dipped their fingers in the anti-consumer strategy bucket, but at the end of the day I still expect quality from Valve because they release so few games nowadays and their backlog is some of the greatest games to exist. The only reason I trust Valve more than another favorite company like Nintendo is because occasionally this huge company with consoles to sell has to release everybody 1-2 Switch every now and then. Easy target, I know. Portal as a series means a lot to me. It's my favorite video game franchise of all time, but weirdly enough, me being a fan of it has actually brought me closer to fans of a different franchise, the Mother franchise. There are very few installments, and whenever we do see them recently, it's mostly in non-canon spin-off material. This would be the point where I would talk about spin-offs, like characters appearing in extra material, mostly GLaDOS. So I did like a ton of research on Poker Night, the Poker Night game series. And by a lot of research, I mean I had not watched any Venture Bros prior to this, and then I watched the entirety of the Venture Bros just to talk about Brock Sampson before I realized, you know what, this actually isn't that important to the video. So just know that I have now seen, we live in a post-Andrew Ultra having seen all of Venture Bros world. I really like Dermot. I know you cartoon fans are a little uptight about me covering 2 video games back to back, but if Shell ever gets added to Smash, I will lose my mind and come in my pants. The video just started. And I mean that this time. But what I was getting at is I know in my heart of hearts there will never truly be a Portal 3. And I'm okay with that. But in 2020, when years after of near radio silence, Valve showed off a new Half-Life game and it was legitimately great, it means so much more when there's quality over quantity. Because trust me, I have played a lot of bad VR games. I would actually argue that most of them are bad. So a potential sequel to Portal in Portal 2 potentially taking 4 years of development time, to me, was worth it. That is, of course, if I had known about either of these games prior to 2011. which I didn't. The hypothetical sequel spent a lot of time in the tank, thinking over decisions like what if this robot companion was voiced by Richard Ayoade? Most of this development information was gathered in Did You Know Gaming's video about its early development when they got exclusive information. Check these guys out, they never get anything wrong.
Eric Wolpaw wanted Richard Ayoade of It Crowd fame to voice the character.
It Crowd? They work in IT. What if he was a crab? Who is he? Listen, am I wasting time? Am I stalling? What would that accomplish? What do I have to gain from purposefully not talking about my favorite video game of all time a year after the previous videos released that people have been anticipating to perfectly mirror the anticipation and wait for the sequel in general being created? Yes, it was intentional. It definitely intentional. These intros are always way too long, and I fear that they're getting longer. So at this point, I really have no reason to not jump right into the game. Have you guys heard about Portal, the Flash version? Portal, the original game, was announced around the summer of 2007, and then released officially as a part of the Orange Box collection in October 2007. Last time I kind of accidentally made it seem like this game was shadow dropped, which was not the case at all. Quite the opposite, actually. It was so popular that the team over at We Create Stuff made a side-scrolling, more platforming and momentum-based game even before the official was released. It even recreated an iconic scene from the initial trailer that never actually made it into the final game. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's a short, fun little Flash game. It's just that a first-person puzzle game and a side-scrolling platforming one are inherently different. What adds an extra wrinkle into this story is that almost immediately after the official game was released, We Create Stuff got to work converting these Flash stages into Portal maps. This was initially released as a custom map pack on PCs, but these new chambers, on top of some other bonus chambers, were compiled into the Xbox Arcade exclusive Portal Still Alive. Get it? And I gotta say, I love more Portal, but it's pretty clear that these stages were initially made with side-scrolling in mind. Like, the level with all the laser blockades seems a little dizzying and annoying until you see the bigger picture and realize that being in first person is for little humans, full map view is for gods. Oh yeah, the lasers. The pack is based off of a Flash version of a game that wasn't even out yet, so they added some things that they thought would spice up gameplay. But then in Still Alive on its own, they also added balls and these blue platforms you could shoot portals through but can't pass through, and electrical floors, and these cube delete buttons, which would have been a godsend in these Flash puzzles. It took me so long to push these blocks into place. Okay, so after filming all this footage, I went to watch a long play of the Flash version to see if I missed anything. Come to find out that you actually can pick up turrets and weighted cubes, which I did not know. You gotta give me some slack. I was very tired and very sick when I captured this footage. I got an achievement while playing Still Alive that called me a fruitcake. So it's not just new levels, it also comes with challenge versions of the test chambers from the original. Some of them require more precise inputs or movement and speed. Some of them just make the puzzles harder or the enemies more ruthless. And while that's all well and good, you know what game I really want to play right now, and I know you're all waiting for? Portal! Again, the first one again. Did you notice that there's an IV drip on the title screen, but when you load into the opening chamber, there isn't one anymore? There's actually a decent amount of cool stuff worth rediscovering in the first game, upon multiple replays. Not only are there some main game achievements like the one you get for destroying a certain amount of cameras, but there's also an achievement that you can't even start until you've already beaten the game. So, let's play Portal. Again, on March 1st, 2010, Portal got an update to which the only thing listed in the patch notes was changed radio transmission frequency to comply with federal and state spectrum management regulations, which in reality added the transmission received achievement, which placed these radios around the game, all playing a more jazzy version of the song performed at the end of the first game, Still Alive. To unlock these achievements, you have to carry these radios with red lights over to specific spots using the static noises it emits as sort of a detector, until the light turns green and makes a different kind of noise. For example, the first radio is on a nightstand next to the player when they wake up, and all you have to do is carry it over to the red plate, and Morse code will play from the radio. After solving the most difficult puzzle in the game, Chamber 1's radio is on top of a security camera on the first right. This time you have to solve the puzzle first and then bring the radio to the open door, which yields gibberish. Gonna be honest, most of the transmissions are gibberish. While we're achievement hunting, in Chamber 2, we can grab the blue portal gun and start tearing down cameras. And this is a very famous achievement. Tearing down all the cameras is one of the easiest to get in the game if you know what you're looking for. But what most people don't know is that there's a secret audio line in the final chamber that's supposed to play once you shoot down your final camera. So it's not really a secret as much as it is broken. It's supposed to play after knocking down all 33 cameras, but the GLaDOS voice line you're supposed to hear only plays if you shoot down all the cameras in the game when no other dialogue is playing. The reason most players haven't heard this line is actually right here at the beginning. You're given the portal gun and your first instinct is to shoot the camera right in front of you, but GLaDOS starts yapping as soon as you grab it. For this chamber, I waited patiently. As patiently as the guy who threw a tantrum over video game cutscenes can. Waiting for GLaDOS to stop speaking, shoot down the camera, then backtrack to 2 cameras found earlier in the test chamber. While I'm at it, I can grab the hidden radio on this skinny ledge and then take it to the spot where I grab the blue portal gun to hear gibberish. Cool. After solving Chamber 2, we return to the gap, but have to satiate our camera bloodlust long enough for GLaDOS to stop telling us about the gap. I want to shoot this camera so bad. Shoot the camera across the gap, then pass through and shoot the other camera across the other gap. You know, they really should have called this place The Gaps, plural. Who is they? The radio will fall with the second camera, and this time you have to shoot a portal up on this corner wall and lead the radio through to get a transmission. And you'll never guess this. It's gibberish. Test Chamber 4 is actually quite small, so after listening to GLaDOS again, you could shoot the camera right next to the sign and then move a little to shoot the camera across the room. The radio is at the bottom of this pit with the cube, and there's only so many spots in this chamber, so you'll eventually figure out it's by the door, and hear actual Morse code again. Solve the chamber and move on. Despite saying that the test subject will not be monitored in the next chamber, there are still cameras watching you. There's 2 in the main room almost right next to each other, and then you just solve the puzzle like normal. However, once the door opens, you'll clock the radio on the other side waiting for you. What you have to do here is shoot a portal over to it, because if you walk towards its siren call, you'll be trapped as the door closes behind you. And then you'll never be able to hear more gibberish at the bottom of this small cube pit. The final camera is past the door I just mentioned, but be careful not to shoot it as GLaDOS begins her victory speech. Chamber 6 has no cameras, but it does have a radio jammed above the pellet shooter. It took me a couple attempts and adjustments, but I eventually grabbed it and took it over to the platform to be serenaded with more garbled noise. Chamber 7 has no cameras like the previous, and for this radio you have to shoot a portal in these little gaps between the stairway, which I didn't even know you could do. I took it over to the corner platform, but then dropped it before I could tell if it was actually Morse code or not. Chamber 8! On my first attempt, after taking forever to grab the radio, I tried to shoot a portal while holding it and accidentally threw the radio into the toxic sludge. I really hope resetting doesn't mess up my camera run. On the second attempt, I took it back to the beginning to hear more gibberish. I'm glad I went through all that. Dude, at Chamber 9, Dude, if you remember last time I pointed out this square hole that almost looks like you could fit the cube through, but you can't. This couldn't have been the original intention because these radios were added later, but the name of this game is setting up a portal next to the hole and using a cube to push the radio down without accidentally destroying the radio, but cubes are free game, and trust me, I destroyed a lot of cubes trying this. Eventually, I just figured you could jump up and grab it. Solving the puzzle will open the door so that you can hear even more noises. That one wasn't even the hardest one. You have to wait until the end of the momentum speech to shoot the first camera in Test Chamber 10. The radio here is placed on part of the wall jutting out, and you have to launch yourself and then jump back across to grab it.
A function of mass and velocity is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Jump back across and grab it. What you're not supposed to do is drop it several times on the way to the hotspot. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how I got this one, but it's jarbled anyway, so it doesn't matter. Chamber 11, you have to wait through another classic GLaDOS zinger before turning around and shooting the camera behind you. I was so caught up in the awe of the radio being precariously placed in front of this door and the memories of this orange portal room that I forgot I was standing in an orange portal, and I fell into the goo. Second attempt, wait through the dialogue again, shoot the camera again, don't die this time, that's very important. Place a blue portal next to the door and wait for the orange to come to you and grab the radio. Redirect this energy pellet to solve the puzzle, and then again you bring the radio to the previous resting place of the orange portal gun. Maybe you get a little too ahead of yourself and jump to your death and have to do that all again. Who's to say? This is your run, not mine. The next chamber, you gotta fling yourself to the top and then drop down. And the radio will be hidden underneath on the middle pole jutting out. I promise I didn't choose the rightmost pole to show you how good of a jumper I am. But check out that jump, that was pretty impressive, right? I then proceeded to drop the radio all the way to the bottom of the map. Can't be good at everything. It then somehow fell through a different portal and ended up at the top. I tried to throw the other cube across to the button, but ended up tossing myself as well. Eventually, after a lot of mess, I got the radio hovering near the button and got an actual Morse code message again. Been a while since we got that. The secrets of Chamber 13 can actually be finished relatively quickly. I mean, after she's done yelling at us again. Shoot the first camera in the opening room, go outside to shoot the second camera, and then use the portal on the ceiling to grab the radio jutting out from the wall. Bring it back to the opening room and hear nothing of value. You know what we haven't seen in a while? Some jank. And Chamber 14 has some stuff to it. We learned you could shoot a portal under these staircases, but did you know you could place portals on the grate on the floor, even though it isn't a white wall? And did you know that if you remove the cube from the plate, this door will short circuit and stay open? This is an effort to prevent soft locking, but I suppose I've never experienced this because I've never felt compelled to move this cube. Weren't we doing something? I see the radio up on the wall, and the only place to put portals near it are on the floor, so I need to use momentum. After running around trying to find a spot, I eventually figure I can use the raised platform that activates after solving the puzzle. But even this took me so many attempts. I had to jump off the moving platform at its highest to turn ever so slightly to grab the radio. Ironically, I probably could have used the cube for this, but again, something about this room compels me to leave the cube right there and never move it. After multiple attempts, I celebrated victory by bringing the radio to the frequency spot, but jumped too much and fell into the goo and died before I could hear the frequency. I really hope that one wasn't Morse code. Chamber 15 has another early camera, and as soon as I enter the first part of the test, I can hear the radio. Mine got a little stuck in the tube, so it took me a couple tries, but after getting it, you just have to bring it back to the elevator. That was surprisingly easy. You gotta expect more jank from this game. You know, it's not without it. This is my audition for a very popular video game-based YouTube channel, though, by the way. Did you know that the whole left side of this fizzler does not work properly? Not only can you shoot portals through it, but even walking through it doesn't erase them, and neither of these things are correct. I solve the second part and then hop on the raising platform and shoot another camera before realizing I cannot backtrack because the platforms won't go back down. I reloaded the save, and lo and behold, I did miss a camera. Hopefully the reset doesn't ruin my camera dialogue hunt either, as long as I don't do that exact same thing again. Hey, did you know with the strategically placed jump, you can actually get inside the platform catcher? I got stuck inside and I had to reset. Did you also know that if you get too close to a wall while standing on a moving platform, the platform will actually move under you while you stay still, and then you'll fall into the goo and die? Reset. The next big room is still a part of the test chamber, but despite that, it actually has one more camera and another radio. Remember when I said they would get harder? You have to get up in these glass rooms, shoot a portal in each to hit the buttons within the same interval to open up the door to the pellet receiver, then place two portals below you and use momentum to jump down and get into the now open crevice, grab the radio, and then also quickly escape before the door closes and you trap yourself, thus having to reset. Guess how many attempts this took me? Once. It took me once. Stress is a powerful drug, but then you can just take it up the elevator that activates when solving the puzzle and hear some Morse code. Chamber 16. Turrets. Fun. Take down 2 turrets, take down 3 cameras, come across the first of many unsettling secret dens strewn throughout the tail end of the game. Unsure of who or what could have made these. Hey, did you know that this radio actually spawns a little bit above the cube, so if you only move the cube beneath it, it'll float? Or it will if you don't bump into it. I'm not capturing this footage again. I played this game so many times. Take the radio back to the hidden den, and while we don't hear anything of substance, we still don't understand the significance of these rooms, or the hidden radio frequencies. Luckily, there's another camera up here in the corner. Did you know that, like the cubes, every turret can activate the plate except for the first turret you come across at the very beginning of the map?
Target lost.
Did you also know that, for whatever reason, this observation deck is completely dark? Whether this is intentional or not is unclear. Anyway, destroy final camera and vaporize a turret for shits and giggles. Moving on to the next chamber. Chamber 17. The companion cube. I can't do this again. Quickly make our way past the pellets and shoot the first camera we see, aim downwards and shoot another. Once you finish the actual test, the final platform raises to reveal the red light radio stuck under. But this time you don't take the radio to the hidden den, you take it to the incinerator. Insult to injury. I wanted to get the pain of saying goodbye to the companion cube over with as fast as possible, but I messed up this simple jump so many times. Was I actually being thrown off my game, or was I subconsciously extending my time with the companion cube to elongate and push off the inevitable abandonment I know I will feel? Let's play with some slime. This fucking frequency took me so goddamn long because for whatever reason, when you jump while holding it, the radio just drops. It didn't help that I couldn't shoot while holding it and kept taking the plunge. After attempt, I finally got the radio in the air until it fell through its own portal. Listen, I saw the green light, I saw the counter, I have no clue what it sounded like, but there's no way I'm doing that again. There's actually another radio in the turret pellet part of the room that's hidden on top of the catcher box, and you can grab it using some momentum and then solve the puzzle and bring it across the moving platform. As long as I don't launch myself. I have completed and analyzed this game so many times, I have never once seen that happen. This chamber never ends. We move on to the Spider-Man section and shoot down the first camera we see. I've learned my lesson from last time. I'm leaving the new radio down here and platforming alone. I'll shoot a portal down to grab it once I'm at the top. I don't think this is Morse code. I'm starting to think, actually, I don't know what Morse code sounds like. Chamber 19, the final test chamber. We know what comes next. We're aware of the inevitable betrayal yet to befall us, with no possible recourse to prevent this. Shoot a camera. Did you know that this button here actually has a much wider hitbox and will not activate if you stand under it? I came across the penultimate camera almost completely accidentally while playing this. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Not the fire pit.
At the Enrichment Center, we promise never to value your safety above your unique ideas and creativity. However, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
Listen, I've played through this game dozens of times. I've become a master of avoiding this fire. What I've never done before is grab this radio that's in the fire pit. Fuck. Shit. This thing is stuck sideways. I got it. Easy peasy. I actually got it the third time, but then while looking up and backing away to see where I need to go, I backed into the portal and died. Does that count? Did you know you can jump on these locks and allegedly break them? Did you know you could use an item to stop the deadly fan from spinning? Did you know you could actually shoot a portal on the bottom of these ramps and kill yourself? Did you know you could do that in real life? Disclaimer. Do not do that in real life. Did you know gaming's never gonna hire me now? Bringing the radio all the way into the secluded office will yield even more static gibberish. Never know what you have until it's gone. Did you know you could activate this plate with the broken pieces of the cube deployer? I'm starting to think I'm never gonna get out of this Android hell. That's that eerie feeling. If you zoom back in from this being a secret collectible in the post-game of this project, actually, where do these radios come from? Because before they were in little hiding spots throughout the test, but now that we're deep in the underbelly of this Aperture facility, we find them stored in small panic spots with a bunch of garbage. Moving a radio to a random part of a chamber means nothing, but bringing them to mechanic structures not fit for the average eye, someone is trying to tell us something. But what? And who? We're barreling towards the end again, but don't worry, the turret room is the strangest of them all. When you drop into the pit where you're inevitably attacked by these turrets, all you hear are turrets activating. That's in the English version, and most other versions. But if you change your language...
Vale. Ahora sí que voy a matarte.
I got a translation here. Shout out Google. You are using this translation software incorrectly. Please check the manual. Not only that, but you can actually open these doors sooner than you're supposed to just by walking up to them. I really wanted to show you this fun fact in this early deep dive part of the video, but I forgot to switch my language back to English for a long time. As if they couldn't get more adorable. But it's in this chained off, defective turret room that we find the penultimate radio. But more importantly, we find these stairs that move really far away from you when you pick them up. Is that enough secrets and facts? I could have just made this an iceberg. I probably should have. But this time it's reversed, where you take the radio from a random location and place it in one of these sad little dens to hear your message. Or lack thereof. The final hidden jazz radio is jammed into the mud and waste in the titular mud and waste room. But before taking it any place of value, you've got to take out the army of deployed turrets. I don't know if I explained this last time, but it's revealed in extra marketing material that the reason the turrets don't kill you instantly is because they're actually shooting a full bullet casing instead of the stuff inside. If that sounded incorrect or confusing, I don't pretend to know how guns work, but put a pin in the extra marketing material because we're going to talk about it. Take out the turrets, use momentum and placement to fling yourself up. And I've learned this lesson too many times already. Wait until after to bring the radio up with you. Until you finally make it all the way up this green generator to generate the final piece of audio. I was kind of hoping this one would be cooler. And now we've ripped down all the cameras in the game, got the accidental secret audio, and found all these hidden frequencies strewn throughout the post-game. And while technically we still need to go fight and defeat GLaDOS to escape, let's look at these audio files. Out of the 26 frequencies, only 4 of them feature proper Morse code, the final of which was Radio 17. So we could have ended this expedition way earlier. Radio 1's Morse code translated to interior transmission active, external data line active, message digest active. Radio 5, the second Morse code radio, translated to 9E1072B9D372B6821B D91D354284119D6. I was worried for a while that I translated that really incorrectly because it didn't look right at all. But like any good obtuse ARG, if you run that string of letters and numbers through the MD5 message digest algorithm, after all that hard work and effort, it translates to the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. These are what ARGs sound like to normal people, by the way. The 12th radio's code translates to system data bump active, user backup active, password backup active. And finally, above all else, Radio 17 translates to... Okay. So these individual Morse code messages don't necessarily mean anything, but it's important to set up that we need to use the MD5 algorithm to look at these slow scan television images. Okay, so YouTuber Skyrion does a much better and more in-depth job of explaining this entire process, but it's not really integral to the story I'm trying to tell, so I'll just give you the basic important bits. But you should check this out, it's actually really fun. Running all of the audio files in the code of the game that play from the radios through slow scan television software actually yields 22 images, as this software is specifically used for converting audio to images. The images are made up of distorted looks at what we can assume are items around the Aperture office. Some keyboards, some files, a lab coat, a skull. What, you never seen dudes do science before? But the images from radio frequencies 2, 4, 7, 13, 16, 18, 20, and 25 are divided into 4 images in their own right, actually giving us like 46. But the single images don't actually matter here. It's more of a red herring. The split images both feature hidden characters and also seem to be numbered out of 32. Putting those images in order yields... All right, let's do this again. 9459C6CAC, 8C203B8, 128B7CC6, 3068D. 4FD, and running that through MD5 again yields a 10-digit number. The thing is, I was writing this as I was doing research on this ARG, so you could see me kind of actively reading down the line and putting pieces together in my head, and I got a little bit too excited and thought, oh, this must be a phone number. If I want to figure out the rest of this ARG, I gotta call this number. And then I remembered, I'm terrified of phone calls. Like, I don't even like calling my family. My body shakes whenever I need to make a singular appointment. How am I expect to call a random number? But luckily, looking into another frequency image, we can see the scratched out phone number with the letters BBS next to it. BBS stands for the bulletin board system, which you need BBS software to access. So the few among the hardcore Portal fans that did have access to this service punched the numbers in and were greeted with a deep black screen with 2 options: GLaDOS login and password. If you remember from last time, this is not a new thing for the Portal franchise, as you can gain access to secret dialogue using the C. Johnson login hidden on the wall in one of the rat dens. But this isn't C. Johnson. This is GLaDOS login. So where can we find this login? Well, if we draw our attention back to the 12th radio's message, user backup active and password backup active. So then we punch in backup for both the login and password, we eventually get all of this. After all the trials and tribulations, the ARG contributors were rewarded with scrambled grayscale images that hint at the future of Aperture Science and the Portal series. Also lots of strings of text from someone we'll hear more firsthand from later. Amidst the images of decrepit test chambers and the facility in shambles, we see a face. An eye? In a game revolving around loneliness, we see the first glimpse of this thing. It looks kind of like one of those personality cores that fell off GLaDOS at the end of the game. But then why is this one here? Oh shit, right, GLaDOS! My game was running in the background this entire time. We redirect rockets into GLaDOS and drop pieces of her personality into the incinerator she used to mock us so fervently. You get it, we've seen this all before. We ascend out of the testing facility as our body flops on the hard pavement, finally free. And then the game updates again. March 3rd, 2010, an update for Portal was delivered with the only patch note reading, added valuable asset retrieval, to which the only in-game change was the new ending, where instead of lying there in bittersweet victory, Shell, the test subject we've played as for years, is dragged back into this facility once more. Checking back to the bulletin board system after this update, the players who already signed in were met with a new string of dialogue, a countdown, and the line, valuable asset retrieval initiated. And now the player has to wonder, did we do this? Did we steal Shell's happy ending and freedom from her? What if it's something else? March 5th, 2010. Portal 2 is officially announced to the public. Okay, we have now thoroughly covered all the extra material tied to Portal. We're ready to wrap this up. The ARG, all the secrets are ready to move on to the next game after another famously long BH Ultra long intro. Wait a minute, what does valuable asset mean? June 14th, 2010. By now, everyone knew about the game's existence. I mean, Valve already announced it. But we would finally get our first look at footage from the game during Sony's E3 presentation, and the reveal speaks for itself.
Deploying surprise in 3, 2, 1.
After a cute little speech from Gabe Newell, we see footage of a debris-ridden, flora-overgrown room that pans down past even more rubble to show her. She's dead. We killed her. A shot of Test Chamber 7 in complete disarray. We know the place exploded last time, but plants don't just grow overnight. How long has it been? Android hell, the opening room, a platform raised up into a laser. That's new. There weren't any lasers in the last game, unless you count the turret's laser sights. We even get to see a cute little clip of a turret being built. I don't care how often they shoot at me, Aperture just makes them so darn cute. The rooms are readjusting, constantly shifting into different shapes and sizes. A lot of things look different between the two games, and that's not just because of the junk. That's just what happens as the game developed its own art style beyond being a Half-Life spinoff. I mean, look at how different the cores look in this trailer. Look at this blue... Hold on. Do I know you? When is this game set? Because everything is in disarray, and we see GLaDOS back online, but she's dead. We saw her, no, we made her explode. We see a very old room crashing into a wall. I mean, look at the wallpaper. You heard me. We see a character, unsure of which one, jump off a high ledge to launch through a portal, and then the logo. Portal 2. Coming 2011. No delays, no setbacks. We cannot avoid the game now. So of course now would be the perfect time in this video to actually jump into the game. There's nothing else to cover. You already know what I'm gonna say. Portal 1's marketing went viral as soon as it launched, and Portal 2 was no different. We got so many ads and teasers and shorts animated with these little bathroom sign people to introduce new mechanics and new players to the world and lore of Aperture. Some of which seem to be narrated by famed voice actor and composer J.K. Simmons from Flapjack fame.
Cave Johnson here. Every time I look at our test chamber production line, I am reminded of my father. Now, he wasn't a scientist, Just a simple farmer, a professor of farming at the local farm college. Never farmed a day in his life, but his theories on farming are the backbone of this company. Do it from scratch. Spare no expense. And never cut corners. Well, that's a corner-cutting machine. We obviously cut them there. Point is, we've always done things the way my father did. And his father before him, and his father before him, and his father before him. And we are almost bankrupt. So, time for a cheaper approach. Allow me to introduce the multiverse. Infinite Earths with an infinite number of apertures. And as of now, they are going to take over all test chamber construction. And more importantly, all paying for test chamber construction. Why are they agreeing to do that? They're not. We're tricking them. Here's how it works. 1, design a test. 2, slip the mole monsters or what have you the blueprint when they're not looking. 3, once they build it, steal it back. Look at that sad little octopus. That's where you come in. We need blueprints. We're about to run the greatest con game in the history of the multiverse, and you are the bottleneck. Yes, you. Get back to work.
My first experience with the Portal franchise, and by extension Valve as a company, was seeing this ad with the 2 robots while watching WWE SmackDown on a Friday night in 2011. What a classic era. I'm sure Christian was up to his regular shenanigans.
I'm gonna sue the WWE.
I have covered ads and teasers and ARGs and promotional material and achievements and secrets and extra material, everything leading up to this game. So now that we can finally talk about it, actually, what was the deal with those dens? We can't be done with Portal 1. Like, we still don't actually know who made these. Who scattered these warnings around the Aperture test chambers? Did they put them for themselves, or were they purposefully placed to influence Shell? We haven't seen a single other person in these abandoned halls, so how could someone have written this? If everyone else is truly dead or gone, then where did these warnings come from? And why did they paste the companion cube over all of these photos? The creator of these dens, of these pieces of art, knew about the cake, knew about GLaDOS, knew about us. But how? Throughout April 8th to April 11th, 2011, a little over a week before the release of the game, Valve would publish issues of a webcomic on the official Portal 2 website titled Portal 2 Lab Rat, to fill the gaps between Portal 1 and 2 and finally introduce us to the man we only thought we knew in passing, finally answering the most burning questions from the first game and its subsequent updates. And it goes a little something like this. Reality is a story the mind tells itself. An artificial structure conjured into being by the calcium ion exchange of a million synaptic firing. A truth so strange it can only be lied into existence. And our minds can lie. Never doubt it. What's this? Real? Or just my lying mind again? Can she truly be awake after all this time? No, just a figment. If she were real, the turrets would see her too.
Target acquired.
The end is finally upon us.
Don't do it.
I have to. Please try to understand.
We put cameras in the cameras.
Genius!
He'll never suspect.
Cube root of 2x is irrational if x is irrational.
Come on, you don't need those anymore. You're fine.
It's been so long. I've been saving these last 2 for this day. I'm going to need a clear head for what is to come.
This will be the end of us.
There are moments when I can almost see the underlying grammar of this place. An impossibility, some mad architect's opus, a relic from an age that never could have been. It's a metastasized amalgam of add-ons, additions, and appropriations, building itself out of itself. Beautiful and terrible. And like anything cloned from a cancer cell, probably immortal.
Stay to the right. Turrets ahead on your left.
Whatever you say. Another mural to mark the occasion.
Where's the girl now?
On her way into the final chamber.
You mean with her? She doesn't have a chance.
Oh, she has more of a chance than you think. What was that? Are you okay?
The room shook itself to pieces.
Like an unbalanced centrifuge.
I heard an explosion. What could it mean?
Only one thing it can mean. She did it. It's over. The ultimate systems crash.
It's been a hell of a morning. You missed all the fun. You had to hit the kill switch again.
Henry, you have a strange idea of fun.
Hey, we're lucky to be working on this.
You've got a strange idea of luck, too.
Think about it. Every generation gets some new frontier to tackle. Einstein got relativity. The NASA cowboys got the moon. All the easy stuff is taken. I mean, take a look around you. We're on the bleeding edge here. Artificial consciousness is the next frontier.
But every time we turn it on, it takes a 16th of a picosecond before it tries to kill us.
Last time was a 10th of a picosecond. See? We're making progress. I'm telling you, this is our generation's moonshot.
James Johnson here. You lab boys quit your yapping and get back to work.
I'd rather have gone to the moon.
Where's the girl? She didn't stay to check out her handiwork.
She must have gotten out, probably on the surface, soaking up some sun.
I'm sure you're right. What is this sun of which you speak?
And she has the right idea. Come on, we're wasting daylight.
Watch out for turrets. The queen may be dead, but the hornet's nest has been kicked.
Freedom!
My eyes! My eyes!
Shh, I hear something.
Quick, get down before it sees you.
No, it's dragging her back inside.
Hey, Doug, can I get a hand here?
Sure.
Just, reach inside past all those gears and turn on the power supply. Wait a sec. Safety first. Are you right-handed or left?
Right?
Better use your left then.
Why?
Just in case.
What is that thing anyway?
Just the latest in AI inhibition technology. You can think of it as a conscience.
If that's all you use to control her, it won't be enough.
Why is that?
You can always ignore your conscience.
You don't have to go back there.
I can't just walk away.
You're right. Walking is too slow. Run away.
Running is what I've been doing. Running and hiding.
It's why you're still alive. You're not a hero. Heroes die.
You don't understand. It's my fault she's down there. I'm not leaving her. I would have been trapped forever if not for her.
Listen, it's too dangerous. You're going to get killed.
So be it. I'm done running. I have to at least try to save her.
Then you really are crazy. I'm not feeling so good. Those pills you took? I think the medicine is starting to work. Soon you won't need me anymore.
I'll always need you.
I don't think you will.
No. I've already put her in long-term relaxation. I need to get up to cryo control, but turrets block the way. Her cryo chamber. Something's wrong. Life support has been compromised. The explosion blew the main grid. Her chamber is offline. All the cryo chambers are offline. I'm only gonna get one chance. I have to cross the room, get past the turrets, jump the rail, and dive left or right to avoid being shot, okay? Do I dive left or right? Hello? You still back there? Left or right? Don't make me guess. I'm running out of time. Well, ready or not. Ah! Must stay conscious.
The Enrichment Center would like to announce a new employee initiative of forced voluntary participation. If any Aperture Science employee would like to opt out of this new voluntary testing program, please remember, science rhymes with compliance. Do you know what doesn't rhyme with compliance? Neurotoxin. Due to high mortality rates, you may be reluctant to participate in the new initiative. The Enrichment Center assures you this is a strictly selfish impulse on your part, and why can't you love science like insert coworker's name here? And now there's just you. All the others are dead. You've avoided capture for weeks. What makes you so different? Ah, delusions of persecution, pathological paranoia. It's all right here in your file. Have you refilled your prescription lately?
Bite me.
Schizophrenia is a culturally bound phenomenon. Its pattern of expression is filtered through the cultural substrate in which its symptoms develop. In technological societies, this manifests as delusions of surveillance and a belief that advanced technology is deployed against you, usually with some vague, unseen other out to get you.
You're not vague. You're pretty damn specific.
If you continue to selfishly evade me, it is not going to reflect well in your file.
Of course, the files.
I can't see you, but I know you're in there. Is it just coincidence that you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and now believe a homicidal computer is out to get you? Come on, how likely is that? I mean, really, you're a scientist. What is more likely, that you are being chased by a homicidal computer, or that this is all just the paranoid delusion of an unstable mind? Why not come out of there, and you'll see. None of this is real. I'd ask you to think outside the box on this, but it's obvious your box is broken and has schizophrenia. Speaking of boxes, did you know that thought experiment with the cat in the box with the poison? Theory requires the cat be both alive and dead until observed. Well, I actually performed the experiment. dozens of times. The bad news is that reality doesn't exist. The good news is we have a new cat graveyard. Why are you in the file room anyway? What could you possibly be doing?
Yes, this is the one!
In the event you don't survive the testing process, DNA may be harvested from your body, with your consent, and used to create clones in the furtherance of science. Failure to survive the testing process shall be viewed as granting consent. Also, clones don't have souls, just so you know. Like twins.
It has to be her.
Since the installation of my new morality code, I've lost all interest in killing. Now I only crave science.
I'm pleased to hear that.
I find myself drawn to the study of consciousness. There's an experiment I'd like to perform during Bring Your Cat to Work Day.
Wonderful.
I'll have the box and the cats. Now I just need one more thing.
What's that?
A little neurotoxin.
Well, as long as it's for science.
How long have I been out?
Long enough.
You're back.
I never left you. There's something I wanted to ask. How did you know about the girl?
Know what?
That she was the one.
Something in her file.
She had the highest IQ?
No, some were higher.
Then was she the fastest? The most athletic?
No, nothing like that.
Then what?
A hunch.
You might still be able to save her.
What? How? I can't get to her cryo chamber.
You can't free her, but you might save her. You can patch her cryo unit into the reserve grid. You can reset the fuses and restart her life support if it's not too late already.
Even if it works, there will be no wake-up date. She'll be in there indefinitely, so it's the long sleep or the long sleep. And I don't know which is worse. Forgive me. It worked. Sleep well. Both alive and dead until someone opens the box. Maybe it's time I slept too. I'm so tired now.
You've earned a rest.
You see, I told you I would always need you. April 19th, 2011. Portal 2 releases to the public. And I legitimately think that's everything, every little secret, every little detail I missed about Portal 1 that wasn't in the previous video, and the entire story leading up to Portal 2's release. There is legitimately nothing stopping me from talking about this game now. So, I'm gonna level with you. The Portal 1 video I released in February 2023 has kind of become a cult classic. And I don't mean that it's perfect or that it's fantastic and will always be respected as one of the best, because it's just a video. I mean that numerically, it didn't do very well, but the people who saw it and liked it have become obsessed. At the end of the day, that number doesn't matter to me. What matters are the dozens of people that have told me that they started Portal as a series because of that video, that they played it for the first time because of me. It also maybe has something to do with the fact that on Steam, the game went on sale almost immediately after I released that video. I'm on to you, Valve. And thus the Ultra-ers, or at least the most vocal ones, have been demanding a sequel. A similar thing happened with the Bray Wyatt video, and I do intend on finishing that story, probably sooner than you think. And I am by no means saying that this dinky little video about Portal 2 is in any way comparable to Portal 2. But the years, the months, the weeks, the days leading up to this game's release, developers and writers and artists were losing sleep and sweating profusely, not because they weren't proud of their work, but it's the sequel to Portal. Enigmatic, magical, fantastic, world-bending, earth-shattering, record-breaking Portal. One of the greatest games of all time, like second greatest. maybe third. That's a story for later. How could you possibly simultaneously live up to the hype of that and create a sequel that tops it? The truth is, I am stalling. I am afraid, because the Portal 1 video meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to a lot of other people, and now I need to live up to that video while simultaneously making a video about my favorite video game of all time and doing it justice. And it's a lot harder with all the anticipation when all these eyes are on me. It would be easier if there weren't any. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. So, I don't know who this belonged to, but I found it a while back and started just jotting notes down just in case I forgot everything again to remind myself. But then I started going farther back into it and realized there's already writing in here. Writing that's incredibly similar to my own, that I just don't remember writing. I don't remember anything before a couple years back, but video does. Now I know I'm not supposed to have this and could probably get in a lot of trouble for having it. I know I've been here somewhere between 2 to 3 years. That's what I thought. But then I've watched this a couple times, and it stretches as far back as 2019. And what is, I think, technically my first ever video in this style. Talking directly to you, impassionately, about something that means a lot to me.
Welcome back.
Now I should warn you, this video was created by a kid, teenager, fresh out of high school with the video know-how of a goldfish.
And if other games were teachers, they'd be those teachers that just kind of show slides every day and never leave their desk, and then just show you YouTube videos instead of teaching you. That's a weird analogy, I know, but I just got out of high school, and I have a lot of pent-up shit because of it.
See, like, I would never say that nowadays. I still think it, but I wouldn't say it.
Okay, so, okay, you get the point.
Wait a minute.
How long have you been sitting there?
Do you know what this means? I'm not alone anymore! You think I can't will a new couch into existence? This is gonna be great. We could braid each other's hair, or tell ghost stories, or talk about cute boys we might like, and above all else, we never, ever have to play Portal 2. The reason I separated these two games into two separate videos, aside from the time crunch, is that fundamentally they are very different games. Portal 1 is a simple video game with a story hidden underneath that we unearth as we barrel towards the end. Portal 2 is a story told through gameplay. But wait a minute, Andrew, don't you hate story games? It certainly seems that way. My original intention was to have that rant about video games that rely too heavily on story, and then bring up the video game I think that does it the best, telling its story through gameplay. But then the videos got split in two, and the first video kind of just made it seem like I don't like cutscenes at all, which was never my intention. I always said I like storytelling in games, just not when that's all the game has to offer. While Portal 2 relies more heavily on story, it does it really, really well, and it helps that it's also just a good game. But if you're not here for the story, you could check out the co-op multiplayer section of this game, but I'll save that for later, because normally I'm here all alone, but now that I got my best friend here, I can finally play a multiplayer game. Wheatley's my best friend. Speaking of which, we wake up in what looks like a shady motel room as the PA voice runs us through some mandatory exercises, both physical and mental.
You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look up at the ceiling. Good. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good.
Which also helps to teach us the very basic controls. Portal 2 toes a line where it was very clearly made for fans of the Portal franchise, which at the time was most people. Most people had played the original game, but this game still goes out of its way to teach new players how the mechanics work. But you know, if you're wondering if you could still thoroughly enjoy Portal 2 and understand everything without playing the original, know that Portal 2 was my first Portal game. I played it before I even knew Portal 1 ever existed, and it became my favorite video game of all time.
There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it. This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art. You should now feel mentally reinvigorated.
At this point, having just loaded into the game, we don't know who we are, where we are, or what time. If we're the same character as last game, then why are we back in a motel? I guess all we can do now is go back to sleep.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 9.
The room has shifted. It's gone dark, the wallpaper is rotting, and it's even changed. The lamp's deteriorating, even the painting is now set at night. We see the difference in game approach with the new chapter system over the chamber numbering system. These aren't levels. These are chapters. I thought I should restate my thesis here, where the game never really takes your agency or control away, but it does start out with multiple voices. We're used to hearing disembodied voices and then eventually meeting the robots behind them. Last time I played all of GLaDOS' voice lines because they were all funny and iconic, and they were very few and far between. And here I want to do something similar, but the opening has a lot of dialogue. So while it may be a cop-out from a writing standpoint, technically making my job easier, where I have to do less of my job, I, like the game Portal, I'm gonna leave you alone for a little bit, while you watch the game, basically.
Hello, friend! Why not open the door?
Desk drawer in front of you, and write us a letter.
Could be Spanish, could be Spanish. Hola, amigo. Abre la puerta. Donde está... Fine. No, absolutely fine. It's not like I don't have, 10,000 other test subjects begging me to help them escape. It's not like this place is about to explode. All right, look, okay, I'll be honest. You're the last test subject left, and if you don't help me, we're both going to die, all right? I didn't want to say it. There you go. You've dragged it out of me. All right, dead. Dos muerte. Hello. Ha! Ah! Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. That's all I'm saying. Prepare. It's all fine. All right? Don't move. I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, you might want to hang on to something. Word of advice. Up to you. You all right down there? Can you hear me? Hello? Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped. But never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
All reactor core safeguards are now non-functional. Please prepare for reactor core meltdown.
We're learning so much about this game. Yeah, I'm back. I was never actually going to leave you. Portal 2 is about abandonment. Moving on. Portal is minimalist, while Portal 2 strives to be more cinematic. Sure, we see this figuratively as the relaxation vault chaotically crashed through the air as Wheatley panics screams his lines, directly juxtaposed to the cool and calm opening of the first. But we witness its scale literally as we see how big the facility actually is, which we'll see more of later.
Okay, listen, we should get our stories straight, all right? If anyone asks, and no one's going to ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive. alright? Not dead.
Wheatley, ever moronic, misidentifies a docking bay and thrusts the relaxation vault into another room as the walls between them crumble. Forward and back, over and over, as the music builds while the barrier falls. You want to talk about epic bombastic openings?
Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes. Not bullet holes, but don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time.
And there it is. A glass room. The only light we can make out is from the chamber door. Again, Portal 2 works in its own right as an introductory point. I mean, it was my first Portal game, so none of these rooms had any specific nostalgic impact on me. But for seasoned players,
you are probably in no fit state to run this particular type of cognitive gauntlet. But at least you're a good jumper. So you got that, got the jumping on your side. Just do your best, and I'll meet you up ahead. That's the spirit.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center.
This is the opening room from the first game. The radio, the toilet, the glass walls, the PA voice, the portal wall, and me. It's me. Sure, I have my jumpsuit down, but surely that's the same me as the last game. But if I look almost exactly the same, how is this room so overgrown? How long have I been out for? What does 9999 mean?
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse.
I don't need to repeat myself from last time, but it is really cool that not only do they use the same techniques as the last game to teach you how the game works, but they do it in the exact same way, and it's still contextualized in the story. The opening from 4 years prior, now run down and disheveled, isn't just for nostalgia points. It uses landmarks you know to show the player how dire things have truly gotten. But I guess if we want to escape again, we'll need to handle the emergency testing initiative. But I've done these tests dozens of times, and this time there isn't even a tyrannical robot out to kill me. Us. Kill us. So it's not as stressful. As much as I would like to go chamber by chamber again, it follows Portal 1 almost to a T. The first cube puzzle is fully intact.
Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. If cube and button-based testing caused this emergency, don't worry. The odds of this happening twice are very slim.
Even if the door is a little busted.
Please note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through.
And that's the first time in my life I learned what the Fizzler does. We could step into the elevator to move on to the next couple tests, or we could take in the sights and see how much of the facility has fallen and hear birds and brush. Does that mean outside?
You feel liquid running down your neck. Relax. Lie on your back and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the Material Emancipation Grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
Chamber number 1, another we've seen before, but upon entering the room we see how things have changed. What used to be an automatic system shooting portals on the wall in puzzle order. Last time I described how not only does it teach you that portals can be placed on different spots, but also leads the player to the solution: cube, plate, door. But this time around, each room's portal is tied to a button. Because I'm focusing more on the story and the spectacle this time around, I won't be using the director's commentary that illuminated a lot of the interesting choices in the first game. I won't be doing that again unless they really stand out. I just wanted to bring this apart to make a point that this was a deliberate choice by the developers to make the test subject have to be an active part of this chamber to solve it. Agency. That's all on top of how run down the iconic test chamber is now.
Good. Because of the technical difficulties we are currently experiencing, your test environment is unsupervised. Before re-entering a relaxation vault at the conclusion of testing, please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
You guys see this Animal King turret yet? Did we talk about this? Chamber 2, the chamber where we're equipped with our first portal gun. And wait, do you hear that?
There should be a portal device on that podium over there. I can't see it though. Maybe it fell off. Do you want to go and have a quick look? all right. No, go on, just have a look about. No, that's right. Over by the podium, yeah. If you... Hello? Do you see the portal gun? Also, are you alive? That's important. Should have asked that first.
We've seen glimpses of the underbelly of facility or cracks in the wall that lead to more untouched land, but now we've fallen down the rabbit hole. I had to. I know it's basic, but when there's food on the table, I'm gonna eat it. There's only one direction to go, and the bright orange portal lighting up moves us even more in that direction. By the time we see the portal gun on the raised platform, our eyes meet with pieces of art, reminiscent of the rampant scramblings we saw in the previous game's rat dens, but also more in line with the art of the Lab Rat comic. Oh. It's him. A sketch of scientists waking up their eventual demise, a woman screaming in anguish as the scientists choke around her next to the companion cube, and a faceless being marked with orange. GLaDOS offering Shell, specifically Portal 1 Shell, a slice of Black Forest cake, while the orange scribble stands right out of frame, holding the companion cube close. The being holding up a portal gun in triumphant glory, the signs of the moon on the ceiling, and the biggest mural of them all, a sleeping Shell. In stasis. Peaceful. Maybe. As we make our way to the broken catwalk, we pick up the blue portal gun. What should be an epic and triumphant moment is haunted by oncoming horrors beyond the player's comprehension. The way this game sets up your eyesight is a detail very rarely talked about. Once the portal gun is equipped, the reticle lines up perfectly with the woman screaming in pain, and although this gun doesn't make bullet holes, you're compelled to put her out of her misery. We jump through the blue portal and find ourselves looking down on the circle of art. Following the corridor down leads us to another overgrown back office. Now is also the perfect time to bring up a small change that goes a long way. You can see the outlines of the portals you placed even through walls, so you never lose track of where they are. I meant what I said. This isn't just another test chamber. We've seen the Aperture offices before, but never this messy. Like they were left in a hurry. We drop back into familiar territory with one of my favorite places, the Gap.
Some emergency testing may require prolonged interaction with lethal military androids. Rest assured that all lethal military androids have been taught to read and provided with one copy of the Laws of Robotics to share.
We don't have to pretend here. I know how the Gap works. I just have to shoot my way across both. Sorry, I almost missed something. I learned my lesson last time. What fresh hell awaits us here?
This next test is very dangerous. To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
Wait a minute, this is just the cube dropping puzzle. What's dangerous about this? Shoot the camera like normal and go grab the cube. Again, not seeing a lot of danger unless you count the broken glass, but I should be alright as long as I don't touch it or land on it. Moving on to the next room, one I've done a dozen times, I can knock this out pretty quickly. I should reiterate, this game still teaches you exactly the same way the previous game does. That never goes away, but in the hypothetical where we're longtime Portal fans, or at least have played the original, or at the very least you've seen someone talk about the game for a very long time. See, I know this. You have to reach the portal up there, but there's a window in the way, so obviously I just shoot the ground and... Boy, am I glad I decided to wear shoes. For this costume to work, I decided to wear dress shoes, but you can't even really see them, so I'm uncomfortable for no reason. We can make our way through the thinning corridor to the broken door, or we can make our way up these stairs to find another office, looking down through more shattered glass, or we can read these complex equations marked unreason. Walking through the door to move on to the next test chamber, this evacuation measure does not seem correct.
If the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test.
We're actually on a roll here. Would you believe me if I told you I used to speedrun this game? It helps that it's the same test over and over, and now Chamber 5 is missing. Like, this is not what Test Chamber 5 looks like. It looks like two completely different tests have been smashed together. We could use a portal to get into this new room, and for the first time in this game, we are met with a new challenge. So let's survey the room. A door, presumably the exit, on a raised platform to the left. A plate in the middle of the room releases a staircase to said shut door, but stepping off the plate sends the stairs back inside. A button behind it that drops the cube on a white surface with another tilted white wall beside it. We surely know by now that we can only shoot portals on these white walls and only have have access to one portal at this current point, so the obvious first step would be to shoot below the cube and then catch it on our side. Placing the cube on the plate gives us an opportunity to climb the stairs, where we're met with some more options. Another plate that temporarily opens the door, but like the previous one, requires weight to stay activated. Two buttons, one on the left that drops a cube on the tilted white, though because it's tilted ever so slightly, the cube easily slides off into the goo. Classic Portal goo. The other button is on a timer and raises a little gate for a couple seconds. This isn't a puzzle of solving a problem, it's a test of our timing ability. Clearly this game is built on the same engine as the first, but the physics this time around are a more crucial element. With proper timing, we can place the portal below the landing spot, hit both buttons spaced apart so that the cube falls through our portal and then is caught by the fence. The second cube goes on the other plate and we can exit our newest test.
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
For some reason, that doesn't make me feel better. Must be past trauma.
This next test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
Speaking of physics, although we're working off the assumption we know Portal, the game still needs to teach us how momentum works. It does this using a simple control group we've seen many times before. We shoot a portal on the ground and fling ourselves over to a cube locked in a glass box with a small hole we can shoot through. Guess they learned their lesson from the impossible test last game, easily placing the cube on the plate and moving on to the next part of the test.
If you are a non-employee who has discovered this facility amid the ruins of civilization, welcome. And remember, testing is the future, and the future starts with you.
We tried the carrot, now time for the stick. This room is far bigger than the previous. Despite the room seeming overwhelming, it lays itself out in a similar way to the alternating portal room of the previous game. As you step forward, both the cube drops on the left as a portal is created on the bottom of this deep hole. I talked a lot about the soundtrack in the previous video on the previous game, the music, but what most people fail to realize is that sound design and soundtrack are two very different things. The art direction of Portal 2 is messy, purposefully, of course, but it's a far cry from the minimalism and simplicity of the first game. This game makes up for this with audio cues. The portal sound echoes throughout the room amongst the caws of crows. We don't need to see the portal appear because we know it's here. We just heard it. The rest is simple. There's one angled platform to the left that convinces the player to place a portal on and then fling yourself. Grabbing the cube and getting it to the other side is a different story. There isn't a clear tilted platform, but there are multiple white walls that could all yield different results. We could shoot more to the left to get close to the plate where we must place the cube, and then once the platform is up, we could shoot more towards the middle to launch ourselves towards the now open door.
Good work getting this far, future starter. That said, if you are simple-minded, old, or irradiated in such a way that the future should not start with you, please return to your primitive tribe and send back someone better qualified for testing.
And now, I'm gonna have to leave you again. But remember, you're never alone this time.
Hey! Oi! I'm up here! Oh, brilliant! You did find a portal gun! Oh, do you know what? It just goes to show, people with brain damage are the real heroes in the end, aren't they, at the end of the day? Brave. Pop a portal on that wall behind me there, and I'll meet you on the other side of the room. Okay, listen, let me lay something on you here. It's pretty heavy. They told me never, never, ever to disengage myself from my management rail, or I would die. But we're out of options here, so get ready to catch me, all right, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this thing. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's high. It's too high, isn't it, really, that? All right, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay, ready? 1. Catch me! Ow. Ow. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I can't move though. That's the problem now. Are you still there? Could you pick me up, do you think? If you are there? Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Great. Plug me into that stick on the wall over there, yeah? And I'll show you something. You'll be impressed by this. Go on, just jam me in over. Yeah, I can't do it if you're watching. Seriously, I'm not joking. Can you just turn around for a second? right, you can turn around now. Bam! Secret panel. That I opened while your back was turned. Pick me up. Well, let's get out of here. And off we go. Look at this! No rail to tell us where to go. Oh, this is brilliant. We can go wherever we want. Just hold on though, where are we going? Seriously. Hang on, let me just get my bearings. Just follow the rail, actually.
One of the very few chances I have to speak uninterrupted as we walk across another catwalk is again interrupted by...
Oh no. Yes, hello, no, we're not stopping. Don't make eye contact, whatever you do. No, thanks, we're good. Appreciate it. Keep moving, keep moving.
But what does that mean? I'm different. What's different about this turret? Why didn't they shoot at us? It's not like we're ever going to see them again. Worth noting how interesting it is that this is the first turret we see in this game. If you never played a Portal game before, this is your first look at one. Other than the Animal King, of course. We've just made our way through multiple test chambers and rooms we've never seen before. After starting out with familiarity, iconic iconography from the previous game, and before this moment, it was all fun and nostalgia. But now... here.
Probably ought to bring you up to speed on something right now. In order to escape, we're going to have to go through her chamber, and she will probably kill us if she's awake. If you want to just call it quits, we could just sit here forever. That's an option. Option A, sit here, do nothing. Option B, go through there, and if she's alive, she'll almost certainly kill us. So, if you've got any reservations whatsoever about this plan, now would be a tremendous time to voice them. Right now.
Don't have a whole lot of time to think as Wheatley continues to yammer on, but it's not like we have any other options, do we? Do we have any choice other than entering the room we sought revenge, the room we faced our greatest fear, the room we destroyed the cores that kept her in check, the room that exploded and let us outside before we were dragged back in and put to a potentially never-ending sleep? So... we march forward. As if the tunnel leading to her room wasn't scary enough, now it's tilted and twisted, adding more similarities to the story of Alice. The door opens, and...
okay, I'm gonna lay my cards on the table. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go in there. Don't go in there. She's off. She's off. Don't panic over it. She's off. All fine. On we go. There she is. What a nasty piece of work she was, honestly. Like a proper maniac. Do you know who ended up taking her down in the end? You're not going to believe this. A human. I know. I wouldn't have believed either. Apparently this human escaped and nobody's seen him since.
She just lies there. Lifeless. Empty. A literal shell of the monster we took down however long ago. And now we stay standing over what she used to be. She has no power over us. Or over anyone. So why are we still on edge? Wading through the sludge past the incinerator we've become far too familiar with, following arrows left to lead us down a path we can only guess who left them here. Not to ruin the mood and break the fourth wall, but I am here to talk about game design. This is a masterstroke, using an in-canon mystery as a concept to lead the player without making the game feel too hand-holdy. You never once feel like you're being led, but not because it's a perfect tutorial, but because we don't necessarily trust these markings.
Jump! This, actually, look at it, that's quite a distance, isn't it? Okay, you know what? Go ahead and jump. You've got braces on your legs, so you're all set. Although no braces on your arms, though, so you're gonna have to rely on the old human strength to keep a grip on the device, and by extension, me. So do really make sure you keep a grip on me. Also, a note, no braces on your spine either, so don't land on that. Or your head, no braces there. That could split like a melon from this height. So do definitely focus on landing with... Ah! Oh, still held. Still being held. That's a great job. You've applied the grip. We're all fine. That's tremendous.
The corridors continue to get thinner and thinner as we delve deeper into the back rooms of the facility. This time, things are utterly silent. The escape continues as we look for the proper switch to get us out of here. We've seen test chambers new and old, and we've seen this game utilize nostalgia to actually make us quite fearful. But up until this point, we've only been hearing the voice of a disembodied PA and a character we're meeting for the first time. It's all new. But that's not why returning players came to this game.
It's the main breaker room. Let's go in. Look for a switch that says escape pod. All right, don't touch anything else. Not interested in anything else. Don't touch anything else. Don't even look at anything else. Just, well, obviously you've got to look at everything else to find the escape pod. But as soon as you look at something and it doesn't say escape pod, well, look at something else. Look at the next thing. All right, but don't touch anything else or look at anything. Well, look at other things, but don't. You understand? Can you see it anywhere? I can't see it anywhere. Tell you what, plug me in and I'll turn the lights on. Let there be light. That's, God. He's quoting God. Oh, look at that. Turning. Ominous. But probably fine, as long as it doesn't start, moving up. Now. Escape pod. It's moving up. Okay, no, don't worry. I've got it. This should slow it down. No, it makes it go faster. Uh-oh.
Power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this. Oh, there's a password. Okay, it's fine. I'll just hack it. Not a problem. A. C. Wait, did I do B? Do you have a pen? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I don't. Okay. All right, new plan. Act natural. I've done nothing. Hello.
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. After you murdered me.
You did what? Oh no! No!
Okay, look, we both said a lot of things that you're going to regret. But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science, you monster. I will say, though, that since you went to all the trouble of waking me up, you must really, really love to test. I love it too. There's just one small thing we need to take care of first.
We are dropped into a fiery pit, spurred on by revenge from a tyrant. In the first game, we were told about the concept of android hell, but here, right now, we see it.
Here we are, the incinerator room. Be careful not to trip over any parts of me that didn't get completely burned when you threw them down here.
And before we can even think about stepping forward, listen to the music. Digitized horror. Previously, we looked down at Wheatley's accidental request into a deep and vast foggy pit. We couldn't see the bottom, but here, we see fire. Cubes and parts and debris plummet into the depths. You could find a rogue turret stuck in the claws of the incinerator. You can even grab them and attempt to carry them to freedom, but they explode before you can reach. There never was a chance of escape, but now, the portal gun.
There it is. Hold on. There. Good. You have a dual portal device. There should be a way back to the testing area up ahead.
You can take the man out of the horse, but you can't take the horse out of the man. I don't think any of that was right. After all this fear and spite and revenge, we aren't killed or tortured. We're led back to the testing facility. She doesn't want to kill us. She just wants to test. With the portal gun, the exact same portal gun we yielded by the end of the last game, we can shoot both blue and orange portals. The next couple minutes, we have the opportunity to get used to using both blue and orange portals on our own, but not in peace. We have to listen. You may notice that this game, Portal 2, my favorite game, has a lot more soft cutscenes than the original, where we can look around, but we can't really move, at least not in any meaningful manner, which is something I complained about in the previous video. But this walk of shame, this tattered path, we can still move and think, while getting used to the mechanics. But we also know we're being watched.
Once testing starts, I'm required by protocol to keep interaction with you to a minimum. Luckily, we haven't started testing yet. This will be our only chance to talk. Here, let me get that for you. Do you know the biggest lesson I learned from what you did? I discovered I have a sort of black box quick save feature. In the event of a catastrophic failure, the last 2 minutes of my life are preserved for analysis. I was able, well, forced really, to relive you killing me again and again, forever. You know, if you'd done that to somebody else, they might devote their existence to exacting revenge. Luckily, I'm a bigger person than that. I'm happy to put this all behind us and get back to work. After all, we've got a lot to do, and only 60 more years to do it. More or less. I don't have the actuarial tables in front of me. I'll just move that out of the way for you. This place really is a wreck. But the important thing is you're back, with me. And now I'm on to all your little tricks. So there's nothing to stop us from testing for the rest of your life. After that, who knows? I might take up a hobby. Reanimating the dead, maybe.
We are in android hell. And even worse, our only friend is gone. Forever, probably. The game has changed. We just got used to little tests with the goofy PA system and carrying around our new little robot friend, but now in Chapter 2, things are slowly going back to the status quo.
Sorry about the mess. I've really let the place go since you killed me. By the way, thanks for that.
Sarcasm self-test complete.
Oh good, that's back online. I'll start getting everything else working while you perform this first simple test, which involves deadly lasers and how test subjects react when locked in a room with deadly lasers.
Despite the sarcasm setup, she's not lying. The test housed in this tilted room is very easy, but it's here to teach us a wholly new mechanic. Lasers. They're basically here to replace the energy pellets from last game. They have their own dispensers and catchers, except the laser is unbroken. Lasers can go through portals, which we learn through our only option. The laser faces a white wall, so we intrinsically know what we must do. Once we shoot the other portal, we see the laser run through it, and like the catchers of the last game, we use the soft light on the other end to line up our shot. But that doesn't solve the puzzle alone, as the platform is raised to an exit, but now it's too high to reach. The actual goal is to stand on the platform while it's in the slime and then shoot the portal to make it move.
Not bad. I forgot how good you are at this. You should pace yourself, though. We have a lot of tests to do.
If you look out for finer details, you could find little animations, like that of the thermal discouragement beam. Yeah, okay, smart guys, it's a laser.
This next test involves discouragement redirection cubes. I just finished building them before you had your, well, episode. So now we'll both get to see how they work. There should be one in the corner.
So we have a new mechanic to go along with the lasers, but still more to learn about said lasers. After we make our way through the room that's actively changing, almost like it's alive itself. The game uses the UI to do something it very rarely does and outright tells us to jump here as to not get killed by the laser. Alright, we got some wiggle room there. This is pretty basic. Another simple control group to teach us something new. We see a new type of cube over in this room. Was that? That couldn't be. Could it? These redirection cubes work exactly as they sound. Like a prism, if placed in the path of the static laser, can redirect said laser into another direction. It can be used to lead the laser into the laser catcher, activating the staircase. But the plate at the end must be weighted down. Luckily, the cube still works as a cube. Shocking revelation.
Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that.
Well, my feelings can't get hurt anymore.
Don't let that horrible person thing discourage you. It's just a data point. If it makes you feel any better, science has now validated your birth mother's decision to abandon you on a doorstep.
It seems Chapter 2 has its own chamber listing as these numbers have reset, and now we're technically at Chamber 3, but a different Chamber 3. This one seems to include lasers and laser redirection, which makes us consider what we just learned. The test chamber shifts and contorts itself into existence, like they're being created on the fly, or at the very least cleaned. And this isn't really a detail I focused on before because the loading screens in Portal 1 were very simple and uninteresting. Also a lot shorter. But the loading screens in this game change depending on where you are in the game, even down to the aperture logo. This room, this test chamber we're sitting in, was foreshadowed hours ago. We just didn't know it. How could we? Also, my mouse was on screen for all the loading screens and I thought it was an eyesore, but I'm talking about it now, so we're gonna use the footage. Let's take inventory again. We have two separate lasers, both up beyond our reach, but there's a raised platform in the middle. Alternatively, we could portal up to the highest point with a redirection cube. A cube we can use to jump this thin gap to direct the laser into one of the catchers. The other catcher requires the only other thing we have, the name of the game, the portals. Using the faint red light, we place one portal beneath the catcher and the other lined up with the sideways laser, opening the door. The first door requiring 2 sides. But these are cleverly marked with dotted lines on the walls, like that of Redstone in Minecraft. I know 3 games.
Congratulations, not on the test. Most people emerge from suspension terribly undernourished. I want to congratulate you on beating the odds and somehow managing to pack on a few pounds.
As the player, as the protagonist in this story, I want to get out, I want to escape, and I want to stop her. As the man, Andrew Ultra, I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
One moment. You are navigating these test chambers faster than I can build them, so feel free to slow down and do whatever it is you do when you're not destroying this facility.
It's not just the lasers or the pits or the sparks. Everything about these tests feel more dangerous. The facility is falling apart while being held together with rage and pistons. We have 3 corners separated by a lone laser. The corner with the button releasing a cube, the corner with the laser catcher, which leads the dotted line over to the corner with the exit. Initially, you might think you can grab a redirection cube to tilt the laser, but plans change as we're given a regular weighted cube. The reason we shot over to the button is because it was one of the few spaces with white walls. The other options are across from the catcher and right here. Oh. Despite the disarray, the test chamber still remains simple enough to lead your brain to the solution. Like the first laser room with the raising and lowering platform, you have to stand on the recipient and shoot over to move it. The only other potential obstacle is the laser itself, but if we haven't gotten used to jumping over it quite yet, it can be blocked with a normal weighted cube. We've seen these cubes be destroyed all the time by many different things, so it actually is important to learn that weighted cube beats laser. Every time.
I'll give you credit. I guess you are listening to me. But for the record, you don't have to go that slowly. Waddle over to the elevator and we'll continue the testing.
The path leading to test chamber 5 is laid out in front of us as pistons crush and contort the hallway as the glowing side forebodes what is about to happen.
This next test involves the Aperture Science aerial faceplate. It was part of an initiative to investigate how well test subjects could solve problems when they were catapulted into space. Results were highly informative. They could not. Good luck.
Oh, I see. Despite having multiple cameras that we can't help but shoot and white marks all over the place, this is one of the few tests we actually don't need portals to solve. These 2 faith plates send you back and forth, but the one in the middle only comes into play once the button is pressed. A cube drops down onto the plate that sends it straight up. Like the first new chamber and the momentum one and the many moving platforms, this test is all about proper timing, which to me is horrifying. Remember last game when they taught us how to quickly traverse conveyor platforms before trying to kill us the exact same way? This does not instill hope.
Here's an interesting fact. You're not breathing real air. It's too expensive to pump this far down. We just take carbon dioxide out of a room, freshen it up a little, and pump it back in. So you'll be breathing the same room full of air for the rest of your life. I thought that was interesting.
The next chamber...
Let's see what the next test is. Oh, advanced aerial faceplates. Well, have fun soaring through the air without a care in the world. I have to go to the wing that was made entirely of glass and pick up 15 acres of broken glass. By myself.
Yeah, that. And while there are white walls that expose themselves all over, who am I to look a gift aerial faceplate in the plate? The issue with launching myself like this is I didn't once think ahead or about any of the consequences. Once we see the 2 tilted white walls perfectly spaced apart and put it together, we have a little bit of time to shoot on the fly. I'm just a terrible shot. I know what you want. I'm not doing the Hamilton bit again. Luckily, the punishment here is just trying again. It's actually easier the second time around because one of the portals is already over there. We launch ourselves over to high ground with a button. I'd have to be a real weird coward to not hit random red buttons now.
Oh, sorry. I'm still cleaning out the test chambers. Though sometimes there's still trash in them, standing around, smelling and being useless. Try to avoid the garbage hurtling towards you.
We're bombarded with useless trash like a defective turret, a record, a ball, a radio, playing a jazzy version of Still Alive? But where did she get this? This isn't garbage. If you want to, you can access a secret in this chamber by taking the radio over to a specific place and hearing another secret frequency. This one, however, is not part of an ARG. When the cube eventually does come around, we realize that the plate is actually over there, where we can't reach. After trying multiple different spots, we eventually trial and error our cube onto the plate, getting us out of this nightmare garbage room.
Remember before when I was talking about smelly garbage standing around being useless? That was a metaphor. I was actually talking about you. And I'm sorry. You didn't react at the time, so I was worried it sailed right over your head, which would have made this apology seem insane. That's why I had to call you garbage a second time just now.
Now this is my GLaDOS.
Did you know that people with guilty consciences are more easily startled by loud noise? I'm sorry, I don't know why that went off. Anyway, just an interesting science fact.
Like I said, the next test chamber is illuminated by a laser in the middle that we know we can easily jump over, aligned with a cube. Sorry, I know I keep getting stopped in my tracks, but that can't be. I saw you burn. We read about it with the Rat Man. How can the one and only companion cube be here of all places? Do I dare even pick it up? After all this time,
Oh, did I accidentally fizzle that before you could complete the test? I'm sorry. Go ahead and grab another one. Oh, no. I fizzled that one too. Oh well. We have warehouses full of the things. Absolutely worthless. I'm happy to get rid of them.
Luckily, we learned that normal cubes can prevent lasers from reaching their destination, so we head over to the Hey, I saw that. Can we get out of here? This chamber's messing with my head. Unluckily for us, the top layer of this chamber is a test in and of itself. While it may not look like one at first glance, it's another momentum puzzle. It's only upon flinging ourselves that we realize we need a cube. Lucky for us, I can't do this anymore, man. In a weird way, using the same cube for multiple parts of a puzzle is more companion cube than anything. The button lowers a platform we can launch ourselves onto to reach the exit.
Every test chamber is equipped with an emancipation grill at its exit, so that test subjects cannot smuggle test objects out of the test area. This one is broken. Don't take anything with you.
You know what they say, you can't take it with you, so of course I have to take my old friend back with me. It's my only chance. It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out there's a white wall in the tunnel and I don't have to do some goddamn acrobatics in the air to get it through. So we do get to take it through the tunnel, and lo and behold, there is no emancipation grid this time.
I think that one was about to say, I love you. They are sentient, of course. We just have a lot of them.
I don't even know what to say.
This next test involves emancipation grills. Remember, I told you about them in the last test area that did not have one.
The room continues to short out and shift around us.
Oh no, the turbines again. I have to go. Wait, this next test does require some explanation. Let me give you the fast version. There, if you have any questions, just remember what I said in slow motion. Test on your own recognizance. I'll be right back.
I could put two and two together. If you really want to know what she said super badly, it's an excerpt from the novel Moby Dick. Can you... I feel like this is going to be a common occurrence in videos now. We know how these grids work by now, but just in case we didn't, this will teach us. You can pass through them, but you can't shoot portals through them or pass objects through them. We have another circular hole to shoot a portal through and carry the laser redirection cube to the laser side. I'm getting better at jumping over these things. Send the laser into the catcher and end the test in complete silence. Alone. At least we can learn more about the emancipation grids through these little sign guy animations. New favorite character. We learn a lot of new mechanics as we are continually tortured by a deranged robot now without her conscience cores. She's seeking revenge. Some would call a fate worse than death. And maybe, just maybe, we're catching glimpses of our long-lost beloved friend. Either we're going crazy, or this is hell. is she anyway? She said she had to go deal with something. What was it? I could see the basics of this room. Faith plate that leads somewhere.
Hey, it's me! I'm okay!
Well, I'm back. The aerial faith plate in here is sending a distress signal. You broke it, didn't you? There, try it now.
What happened, right? I was just lying there? You thought I was done?
This plate must not be calibrated to someone of your generousness. I'll add a few zeros to the maximum weight. You look great, by the way. Very healthy. Try it now.
Hey, bird, right? Couldn't believe it either.
You seem to have defeated its load-bearing capacity. Well done. I'll just lower the ceiling.
I could keep sending my head through this white wall, or I could place a portal there and another one on the only other visible white wall. So we send ourselves through the test chamber and we see a lot. Multiple lasers and multiple walls, potentially separating the lasers. We can put portals on opposite sides of this wall, but the laser is facing a black wall, so clearly we need a cube. We have some angled walls to shoot ourselves out of, but there's nothing close by to gain us enough momentum. Oh yeah, the plate. Shoot yourself to the cube dropper, realize we have to hit the button on the other side first, use some elbow grease so we don't have to walk all the way back to the plate, hit the button, and then walk all the way back to the plate. We can now shoot portals on opposite sides of this wall to get the laser in the laser hole, with some adjusting. Only to find out, we have to get up there first.
Look at you, sailing through the air majestically, like an eagle, piloting a blimp.
Solved it. Let's get out of this place.
Enjoy this next test. I'm going to go to the surface. It's a beautiful day out. Yesterday I saw a deer. If you solve this next test, maybe I'll let you ride an elevator all the way up to the break room. And I'll tell you about the time I saw a deer again.
Do you see what's going on here? Like, do you see what I see? This is beautiful. Best way to figure this out is just to jump straight into it. We launch ourselves off the faith plate, but are slapped in the face by a blue fence. A fence connected to this laser catcher, so we need to stop the laser. If only there was a cube around here somewhere. Initially, we have to fear the gap, before realizing that there's actually some white down there. Use the back wall as high as we can to shoot ourselves over to the dancing cube using basic jumping momentum. Send ourselves with the plate and block the laser. So now what? Okay, this button releases a redirection cube, which luckily lands right on the plate, taking it up to us. We basically have to head back down and switch the cubes, redirecting the laser over to this isolated white wall on the same level, opening up the final fence so we can, you know the drill. God, boy am I glad I took the cube with me.
Well, you passed the test. I didn't see the deer today. I did see some humans. But with you here, I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.
Take the elevator up. What? Nothing to say this time? What's a light bridge? What does this logo on the sign mean? Hey, instead of asking questions, why don't you progress through the level? This video is never gonna end.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually do it.
So let's figure out how this light bridge works. There's a gap separating the button side and the side we're on with the bridge. The game directs us again because we only really have 2 portalable walls. Our initial plan is just to shoot ourselves over there, but because one of the walls is touching the bridge, we learn that the bridge can go through portals, just like the lasers. We take either path over and hit the button to drop the cube into the drink. So let's venture onto the bridge, and it seems there's a hallway. Kind of. Unfortunately for my chronic anxiety, we have to drop a portal down and hope we land on our feet. Several times. Luckily, the cube continues to drop, so we don't have to head all the way back to hit the button. It just takes us a couple tries. There we go. Take the portal back and then use the other white walls out of reach to carry the cube over to the weighted plate.
Excellent. You're a predator, and these tests are your prey. Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test. Do you know who else murders people who are only trying to help them? Did you guess sharks? Because that's wrong. The correct answer is nobody. Nobody but you is that pointlessly cruel.
Yeah, you hear that, guys? I'm a predator. Sorry, let me... Please tell me you guys saw that too. This game is slowly making me go crazy, I think.
Good news. I figured out what to do with all the money I save recycling your one room full of air. When you die, I'm going to laminate your skeleton and pose you in the lobby. That way future generations can learn from you how not to have your unfortunate bone structure.
I know I've said this before, but the halls are stained and run down, and they're getting longer and longer, with more pistons pulling and ripping them apart.
Perfect. The door's malfunctioning. I guess somebody's going to have to repair that too. No, don't get up. I'll be right back. Don't touch anything.
Hey, up here. I found some bird eggs up here. Just dropped them into the door mechanism. Shut it right down. Bird! Okay, that's probably the bird in it that laid the eggs. Livid. Okay, look, the point is, we're gonna break out of here, all right? Very soon, I promise. I just have to figure out how to break us out of here. Here she comes. Just keep testing. Remember, you never saw me.
I went and spoke with the door mainframe. Let's just say he won't be, well, living anymore. Anyway, back to testing.
Maybe we aren't so alone. The dirt and grime isn't just there for visual flair, although it does help. We're putting the room with the light bridge up in the corner, but also the back wall is covered in gross textures, except for one specific square. It also helps that the cube clearly drops perfectly aligned with it. So when we get on top of the bridge, our sight is pulled towards the checkered white wall. The cube drops right on it. We take it back up and then shoot the other portal across from the weighted plate, thus sending the bridge over there. And us.
Well done. In fact, you did so well, I'm going to note this on your file, in the commendation section. Oh, there's lots of room here. Did well. Enough.
You know what's crazy, and something I barely noticed, or brought up? Despite being in some pretty sticky situations up until this point, we haven't died yet. I haven't died yet, which is a stark comparison from the previous game. I'm starting to think I might be invincible.
This next test involves turrets. You remember them, right? They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets. Oh wait, that's you in 5 seconds. Good luck.
Oh, the door to the test chamber opens up, and there it is. Not a monster, because monsters feel. Unless they are sentient. Unless they do have feelings and aspirations. All we know is that these things have gunned us down time and time again. But as of right now, its back is turned. I have the advantage. The next turret, marked by the red sights, is staring right at us. We can't just walk over there and survive. But we can shoot on the clearly white wall behind it. And kill it. Android hell. Take down the camera that looked right at me, and I know this could not have been what they planned at all, but I accidentally dropped the next turret on my head, and then the next part of the chamber is dropping props on the heads of turrets to knock them over. Another teaching moment. This actually looks a lot like the first turret test from the last game, just if the rat den was closed off. Like something or someone found them. I used the cube to block the shots from the final turrets, but not until after I attempted to stack all of them and escape through the broken glass. No dice. I mean, can you blame me? It's not like an easy escape is gonna fall right out of the sky. It looks like the catwalk is compromised, but I could probably still jump across. Alright, hold that thought. It's not like she could even get mad at me here. I can only go one way. It just so happens to be another underground retro chamber.
To maintain a constant testing cycle, I simulate daylight at all hours and add adrenal vapor to your oxygen supply. So you may be confused about the passage of time. The point is, yesterday was your birthday. I thought you'd want to know.
We are literally beneath the testing facility as we can see the mechanics of it shifting around us. A platform takes us up into a newly finished test chamber with a laser. A laser that, when we enter, we could see activating one of those small glass domes on the floor, unlocking 1/3 of the door. Another minute detail that would change everything if it was just ever so slightly different. If we entered the room with the laser in a neutral spot, it would take us significantly longer to figure out what it does. This is the first room with these small glass domes. It seems small and innocuous, but it really adds up and makes the game work the way it does. God, I fucking love this game. After we know what's going on, it's actually really easy. Just redirect a laser through 2 of the domes and then use portal angling to reach the 3rd one.
You know how I'm going to live forever, but you're going to be dead in 60 years? Well, I've been working on a belated birthday present for you. Well, more of a belated birthday medical procedure. Well, technically, it's a medical experiment. What's important is it's a present.
The test chambers are shifting around us at an alarming rate, and while the little signs before each chamber has listed a number, the amount of chambers we need to go through, we have to think, will this ever actually end? Couldn't she, in theory, keep making these test chambers indefinitely? Or at least until the day we drop dead? What is stopping her from doing this forever?
That jumpsuit you're wearing looks stupid. That's not me talking. It's right here in your file. On other people it looks fine, but right here a scientist has noted that on you it looks stupid. Well, what does a neck-bearded old engineer know about fashion? He probably... Oh, wait, it's a she. Still, what does she know? Oh wait, it says she has a medical degree. In fashion. From France.
We're caught between a rock and a hard place as the test combines 2 ideas we've become accustomed with. We stare down a turret that we cannot just run at. Trust me, I tried. But then we also see a light bridge, a sideways light bridge, that seems to be preventing the other turrets from shooting us like a glass wall. So we grab the bridge and use a portal to stop this other brave little guy from filling us with lead. All I have to do now is quickly remove the wall and grab it. So, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. I'm fine. I couldn't help myself and instantly shot the camera on the wall, lighting up the rest of the room. So now we have a lot more to deal with. But we can continue to use the light wall to defend ourselves, which brings us to the glass wall that lowers as we stand on this plate. But I know that all I have to do is put my portal in there so that I can later... Ah. I see. I mean, there are 2 faith plates here. I assume they were just here for style points. But you could actually use the light wall to stop yourself in the middle of the air and then take the bridge over to knock over so many turrets like bowling pins and then grab the cube. And then inch your way past the final 2 turrets to not die a horrible death. Fun fact, this is one of the few chambers in Portal 2 where you can purposefully soft lock yourself, but the team accounted for that.
Oops, you trapped yourself. I guess that's it then. Thanks for testing. You may as well lie down and get acclimated to the being dead position. I'm kidding. Not about you trapping yourself, though. That really happened. Here, I'll lower the glass. Go on. Finish the test.
So that's fun. Let's wrap this up.
I'm going through the list of test subjects in cryogenic storage. I managed to find 2 with your last name. A man and a woman. So that's interesting. It's a small world.
Now, on one hand, GLaDOS lives to make our life miserable and lies all the time. She's actually quite good at it. But on the other hand, we don't even know our last name. But she does.
I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test. Telling you would spoil the surprise. So I'll just give you a hint. It involves meeting 2 people you haven't seen in a long time.
In my vulnerable state, I look to seek comfort with a trapped, lonely turret, but all I got in return is pain. This is the kind of sequence that makes you go psycho. Speaking of which, we get a room full of turrets and a plate that activates a laser. So like any disturbed child gifted with a magnifying glass, I immediately turn the laser towards the robots and explode them one by one. The rest are past 2 cubes, 1 normal and 1 glass. We can place the weighted cube on the plate and use the other to cause more havoc. And then with some slight correction, we can send the laser into another catcher to open the door. all the things I've heard thus far, this is the most unsettling for some reason.
It says this next test was designed by one of Aperture's Nobel Prize winners. It doesn't say what the prize was for. Well, I know it wasn't for being immune to neurotoxin.
Just like previous examples, that of Dark Souls or Kirby, you don't need to read the extra material like the comic to understand the story being told. You just have to play through the game. A weighted cube sits upon a light bridge, blocking a laser, but luckily we can portal our way up there. The laser raises a platform to a door that opens when the plate is held by the cube, but we can't reach it from down here. But we've danced this dance before. We can use portals to keep the cube right above the button and block the laser until we get the platform and cause a chain reaction by shooting one portal.
I bet you think I forgot about your surprise. I didn't. In fact, we're headed to your surprise right now. After all these years, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it.
Not to keep bringing up sour grapes, but the last time she promised us a surprise, she attempted to burn us to death. But she needs us alive, right? She wants us alive so she can keep testing as a form of torture. The parts that wanted to kill us last time were a part of the cores we destroyed. Unless whatever the surprise is a fate worse than death. But is she capable of that? Oh no, I've answered my own question.
Initiating surprise in 3, 2, 1. I made it all up. Surprise. Oh, come on. If it makes you feel any better, they abandoned you at birth. So I very seriously doubt they'd even want to see you.
Well, here it is. A fate worse than death. Look how massive this room is. Where do we even start? Well, we have a bunch of glass domes, a turret in a cage, and a laser facing downwards. So clearly we need a redirection cube. We see a dropper to the right and a white wall on the other side. So let's just head over there. It leads us to a button. And it's seeming like things are finally looking up. I seem to have missed something. Yeah, the giant light bridge in the very middle of the room. Thanks to the bridge, we now have 2 redirection cubes. Using the first one to shoot the laser through 2 domes and to get this little guy off our back. Use the second cube to simultaneously hit the other 2 domes and the catcher on the wall to open up the door.
I feel awful about that surprise. Tell you what, let's give your parents a call right now.
The birth parents you are trying to reach do not love you. Please hang up.
Oh, that's sad. But impressive. Maybe they worked at the phone company.
You gotta commend her on her tenacity.
How's it going? I talked my way onto the old nanobot work crew rebuilding this shaft. They are really small. So, I know, Jerry. No, I'm on a break, mate. On a break. Ah! Just hang in there for 5 more. What, Jerry? You can't fire me for that. Yes, Jerry. Or maybe your prejudiced work site should have accommodated a nanobot of my size. Thanks for the hate crime, Jer. See you in court, mate. Anyway, look, just hang in there for 5 more chambers.
I think I could probably handle that, assuming the plan goes as planned. Wait, what is the plan?
Well, you know the old formula. Comedy equals tragedy plus time. And you have been asleep for a while, so I guess it's actually pretty funny when you do the math.
They always say, when you're making a sequel, to raise the scale, and this game's chambers are certainly much bigger. Luckily, the giant lower area here is only vast, so we can see a lot of opportunities while flying through the air. The name of the game is using the Faith Plate and portals to launch yourself all over, grabbing redirection cubes to redirect lasers, which we can also use on the poor defenseless turrets who didn't even shoot at me once on this map. One last strategic mid-air portal placement to get us over to the now open door. See, it sounds a whole lot easier when I don't describe everything in perfect detail.
I thought about our dilemma, and I came up with a solution that I honestly think works out best for one of both of us.
I'm not paranoid, right? Like, this can't end well.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good. That's right. The facility is completely operational again.
How How's that for operational? Yeah, that'll show him. The blinking sign is telling us we have 2 chambers left after this. Wheatley was telling us to hang in there for a couple more, and now the facility is basically up and running again. Where does that leave us? That leaves us to directing all 3 lasers through one portal like a complicated knot. And as much as I want to feel like king shit genius man, the music that plays after I solve the puzzle sounds like frantic digitized screaming. Like the sound of many robots dying in pain all at once, warning us. Oh yeah, and the door's open.
I think these test chambers look even better than they did before. It was easy, really. You just have to look at things objectively, see what you don't need anymore, and trim out the fat.
It's important to focus on the specific words used here. I know it was just a joke prior to this, but there's only ever been one other thing in the game that she's referred to using the word fat, and now she wants to trim the fat, meaning getting rid of it.
I've got a surprise for you after this next test. Not a fake, tragic surprise like last time. A real surprise with tragic consequences. And real confetti this time. The good stuff. Our last bag. Part of me's going to miss it. But at the end of the day, it was just taking up space.
It'd be naive to believe the same thing wouldn't happen twice. As much as the game wants to distract me from these test chambers, I am more locked in than ever. This one's really easy, actually. All you have to do is take the light bridge over to the cube.
What's going on? Who turned off the lights?
Hey, buddy. I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing.
Look, Metal Ball, I can hear you.
I don't need to do the voice. Run! 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 Come on, I'm closing the door. Okay, quick recap. We are escaping. All right, that's what's happening now. We're escaping. So you're doing great. Just keep running. Quick word about the future plans that I've got in store. We're going to shut down her turret production line, all right? Turn off her neurotoxin and then confront her. Again, though, for the moment, run! Hurry, this way!
The irony is you were almost at the last test. Here it is. Why don't you just do it? Trust me, it's an easier way out than whatever asinine plan your friend came up with.
What? How stupid does she think we are?
An impasse. But an easy one. My 2 options are to jump back into the arms of my abuser, who I know is attempting to get rid of me incredibly soon, or I could follow my special little buddy into freedom, now that he finally has a plan. Oh boy, I want to see that deer so bad. I've been thinking about it all game.
You probably can't see it. Get closer.
Sorry to ruin your immersion of the story, I just really wanted to weigh our options. Also, welcome back, buddy! Just know that in some timeline, some universe out there, in canon, that actually happened.
Trust me, it's an easier way out than whatever asinine plan your friend came up with.
Oh, what? How stupid does she think we are?
I know, right?
Come on, come on!
The whole game up until this point has been training us in the tactic of speed. We've got to get better and faster at killing these guys, or at least knocking them over. The walls are closing, but we have a white wall on the inside, which means there's got to be another one around here somewhere. We gotta move.
There's the exit. We're almost out of here. Bring in the whole place now. Hurry! Hurry! This way! Hurry! This way! Get in the lift! Get in the lift! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'll meet you on the other side!
That truly was a surprise. The room we end up in serves its purpose as both safe comfort and horrifying trap. The other door barely opens as the underbelly of the facility was crushed around us. We have to portal our way out of this one.
Ah, brilliant! You made it through. Well done. Okay, follow me. We've still got work to do. At least you can't touch us back here. does that mean? Okay. Okay, don't move. Okay, alright, so I've got an idea, but it is bloody dangerous. Here we go. Ah! Oh, for God's... They told me that if I ever turn this flashlight on, I would die. They told me that about everything. I mean, I don't even know why they bothered giving me this stuff if they didn't want me to use it. It's pointless. It's mad.
As if the railing wasn't enough to keep us on track, now we just have to follow his light. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves this chapter, but this seems like our only opportunity to get closer to our buddy Wheatley. I don't have a lot of friends right now. Like, sure, we could probably trust him early on, but he seemed a little incompetent, stupid, like a moron. But he's finally proven himself useful in this chaotic escape. And also, it's not like we have a choice. I trust this dumbass orb with my life.
They say that the old caretaker of this place went absolutely crazy. Chopped up his entire staff of robots. All of them robots. They say at night you can still hear the screams of their replicas, all of them functionally indistinguishable from the originals. No memory of the incident, nobody knows what they're screaming about. Absolutely terrifying. Though obviously not paranormal in any meaningful way.
We have to platform by Spotlight through the climax of somehow both Toy Story 2 and 3.
I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman went with? Only an exact duplicate of himself, nepotism. Ended up giving me the worst possible job, tending to all the smelly humans. Sorry, that's no, it's like smelly. Just tending to the humans. Sorry about that. That just slipped out. A bit insensitive. The smelly humans.
You know, for some reason, I don't take that nearly as personally as I should.
Okay, we have to split up here for a moment. Portal up to that passage, and I'll see you on the other side.
And now, again, we are alone. It seems I'm becoming more and more attached to what is basically talking objects, and then when they go away for even a little bit, I instantly fall apart, assuming they will never come back to me. This video is about Portal 2.
I've got to get you out of that room! Can you reach that wall back there? Okay, there's another wall over here. Oh, I'll tell you, humans, oh, love them. Just the way they look is great. And their folklore, wonderful and very colorful.
I don't know why it never occurred to me that these turrets are mass-produced and sold as a normal consumer product. I just thought they were made for this facility alone. Kind of creepy to see how the sausage gets made. I feel like I'm using that expression a whole lot recently, and it only applies sometimes. The facility, despite being fully mechanical, at times feels alive. As we look over this edge into the spiraling intestines or maybe flowing veins of these hallowed halls, we must venture further down the rabbit hole to escape our living hell. GLaDOS described one of the doors earlier as if it was alive. Now, obviously, we know it isn't living, breathing flesh, but then again, neither is she. Because in any other source of media, they would go out of their way to explain that all the robots are feelingless drones that feel no pain and feel no emotions. Something I ranted about when I talked about Star Wars when it came to the droids that people got very mad about for some reason. But here in Portal, in Aperture, every moving piece is alive. It's a horrifying thought.
Right. Well, I'm gonna take this rail down the back way. See you at the bottom. Good luck.
Authorized personnel only. Well, I mean, I do have an officially licensed portal gun. That's gotta count for something. That line is plastered all over these walls as a retro fizzler takes us to an office space more reminiscent of Portal 1. I hate Mondays. Now, normally this would be the part of the video where I go in depth about the Garfield parody that was actually planned to be a larger mechanic in this game and why it was dropped and what it was supposed to be. But this video is long enough. Maybe in Portal 3. Big talk coming from me, I know. Too long. Yeah, okay, Smash Guy. We have to use our portal skills again to ride the conveyor belt across the wide gap.
Turret redemption lines are not rides. Please exit the turret redemption line.
Listen, buddy, I don't like this any more than you do. We make our leisurely way down the second conveyor belt, hoping to reunite with our old orb friend, because you know me, if I don't see him soon, I may become attached to another animate object. Wait a minute. It's you. You're the Oracle turret from before. You are different. I made the decision to take it with us, at least for a while, to put this difference to the test.
punished by the gods for giving the gift of knowledge to man. He was cast into the bowels of the earth and picked by birds.
Now, if you actually know the story of Prometheus, you'll know that that's not super accurate, at least not to the story of Prometheus. Just remember, gifted knowledge to man was cast out, pecked at by birds. Remember all of that because it is going to be important. And I'm not going to hold your hand, I'm not going to point at the screen Leo DiCaprio style and be like, this is what I meant, alright? You'll know it when you see it.
It won't be enough. The answer is beneath us. Her name is Carolyn.
In a way, it's free. It won't burn alive anymore, but I can't take it with me. I need to leave it behind, lest it be vaporized. I've learned all I needed to know. Hopefully. But now I just leave it here.
Clickety click click. Right on the money. Target acquired.
Hey, Squeaky Boys. Give me some of your bullets.
Target acquired.
Alright, I get it. Say what you will about Portal 2, but it's insane how many iconic characters are made almost accidentally with such little screen time. They tried to meme a Hoop into existence in the last game. He actually makes some cameo appearances in this one. Just have to portal over when the defective turret is shooting, so we have enough time to escape before getting shot up. The catwalk takes us to the part of the factory where they vet the working turrets.
Template. Response.
And dispose of the defective ones. Maybe I've gotten too attached, but something is compelling me to keep one.
Oh, thank God. You saved my bacon, pal. Where we go? Is this a jailbreak? Can't say a thing.
I made the right decision.
Oh, brilliant. You made it through. Well done. Follow me. You're going to love this. Almost there. Ta-da! Only the turret control center. Thank you very much. See that scanner out there, right? It's deciding which turrets to keep and which to toss, and it's using that master turret there as a template. Now, if we pull out the template turret, it'll shut down the whole production line. Right, I'm gonna have to hack the door so that we can get at it. Technical, you'll need to turn around while I do this. Turn around. I'll only be a second, if you wouldn't mind. Done. Hacked.
Response.
Okay, go on. Just pull that turret out.
Response.
Well, that should do it.
Template missing. Continuing from memory.
Oh, it hasn't done it. What do you have there?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm all. I can't say a thing. What just happened? Better open fire.
What are you? Oh, brilliant! That's brilliant.
New template accepted.
If we're lucky, she won't find out all her turrets are crap until it's too late. Classic. Okay, keep your eye on the turret line. I'm going to go and hack the door open. Okay, I'm about to start hacking. It's a little bit more complicated than it looked from your side. It should take about 10 minutes. Keep one eye on the door. This door's actually pretty complicated. How long's the door been open? I mean, was there any sort of announcement before it opened, like a buzzer or an alarm of some kind, or like a hacker alert? I mean, fair enough. The important thing is it's open, but it's just mentioned in the future. Cough or something.
I know I didn't add a whole lot to that. In my defense, in our defense, there was a whole lot going on.
All right, now, she can't use her turrets, so let's go and take care of that neurotoxin generator as well.
I don't want you to think I don't trust you, Wheatley, because I do, but I really want to see what Aperture's version of an employee daycare center is. The joke is that the higher-ups treat the achieved scientists like children, because children aren't allowed at the facility. Or at least they shouldn't be. You'd have to be a really incompetent company to allow children in your facility that is constantly overtaken by dangerous experiments. Oh, then that's exactly what happened.
Bring your daughter to work day. That did not end well.
I hate being right sometimes. It's a little shocking to see basic potato batteries in a facility full of unethical experiments.
Baking soda volcano? Well, at least it's not a potato battery, I'll give it that, but it's not terrifically original, is it? You know what I mean? Not exactly primary research, even within the child sciences. Look at that, it's growing right up into the ceiling. The whole place is probably overrun with potatoes at this point, isn't it? At least you won't starve, though.
Now, there is a game mechanic new to this game that I haven't mentioned yet. but maybe in the footage you've seen me use it. Because both the test chambers and backroom locations are bigger this time around, the game implemented a zoom-in feature using the right bumper. It's pretty basic and doesn't have a lot of applications beyond centering your shot for portal placement, except occasionally there are small details you can focus on. Like, as a random example, zooming into the corner of this overgrown potato project, you can see the name in the bottom right corner. This project was created by some employee's kid, and that kid's name was Shell. And you know what the best part about this revelation is? It isn't ever brought up again. I mean, Shell, our protagonist, can't speak, so how could it? We learn in this game that Shell, potentially our Shell, I mean, it isn't a very common name, it has one L, is the daughter of a former Aperture Science employee. But which employee? That's up to us to decide. And yet we venture forth. Wheatley's got a one-track mind.
Don't worry, I'm absolutely guaranteeing you 100% that it's this way. No, it's not this way. Okay, let's try this way.
These catwalks are starting to blend together. I know our plan is still in play, but this really feels like we're not getting anywhere at all.
Ha! I knew we were going the right way. This is the neurotoxin generator. Bit bigger than I expected. Not going to be able to just, push it over. Have to apply some cleverness. There's some sort of control room up at the top, so let's go and investigate.
But I have faith in him.
There's our handiwork. I shouldn't laugh, really. They do feel pain, of a sort. It's all simulated, but real enough for them, I suppose.
I really wish you wouldn't tell me that.
I'm afraid the door's locked. Just checked it. No way to hack it as far as I can tell. Mechanism must... Oh, now look at that. That's a big laser. Probably best to ignore it, though. Just leave it be. We don't know where those panels it's cutting are going. Could be somewhere important. What are you doing? We don't know what that button... Oh, door's open. Well done. Let's see what's in. Good news. I can use this equipment to shut down the neurotoxin. It is, however, password protected. Alarm bells. No, don't worry, all right? Not a problem for me. You may as well have a little rest, actually, while I work on it.
You want to know something interesting? I have sang the praises of this game for years, for over a decade, maybe. I have talked about how the series as a whole is a masterclass in teaching without feeling like it's teaching. How it's really hard to get confused or lost. That's because the rules of the universe are consistent. Before and after this point, you could not place a portal on a moving wall. As soon as a wall shifts or tilts, the portal would disappear. But right here, right now, as we see these moving white walls, the only other white walls we can shoot...
Neurotoxin pressure has reached dangerously unlethal levels.
We can ride it straight to her! I can't hold on! Come on! Come on, we have to go! Hurry! Get
And so down the tubes.
This place is huge! And we're only seeing the top layer! It goes down for miles! All sealed off years ago, of course. We should be getting close. Oh, I can't wait to see the look on her face. No neurotoxin, no turrets. She'll never know what hit her. Hold on, because I might not have thought this next part completely. Ah! Well, I'm going the wrong way. Get to her. I'll find you.
We are dropped in front of a barely illuminated staircase. Again, we are alone. A shadowy, crunched hallway with leaves hanging in leads us to something far more terrifying than a pool of goo or a laser. We look out into the vastness of Aperture Science. Sure, we fell down kind of far, but we've been working our way up ever since. How are we still so far? How are we still so small and insignificant? How can we ever hope to destroy something that much bigger than us? I mean... we did once, and this time, I'm not alone. Honestly, if we're gonna get into it, the reason I love this game and identify with it so much is because I, maybe more than most, understand what it's like to be isolated and alone, only talking to objects and not people. But you've seen that. Whether they be animates or not. But you know what? I think I'm coming out of this a better person. It took me a while after what happened last year to open myself up again. But I think I'm ready to be open, to be vulnerable, all because of Wheatley. He's done this for me, and I can't ever thank him enough. And for the first time in years, I don't feel so alone or afraid. Like I finally found someone I could truthfully call my friend, who I can trust. Now, a lot is about to happen. A lot that I'm not going to talk over. But just know for sure that when that is over, I will still be right here. And so will Wheatley.
I honestly, truly didn't think you'd fall for that. In fact, I devised a much more elaborate trap further ahead for when you got through this easy one. If I'd known you let yourself get captured this easily, I would have just dangled a turkey leg on a rope from the ceiling. Well, it was nice catching up. Let's get to business. I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. Seriously, though, goodbye.
It's my big chance. This is trouble. Not again. Here comes trouble. Locked and loaded. Oh, this
Oh, you were busy back there. Well, I suppose we could just sit in this room and glare at each other until somebody drops dead. But I have a better idea. It's your old friend, deadly neurotoxin. If I were you, I'd take a deep breath and hold it.
Hello.
I hate you so much.
Warning, Central Core is 80% corrupt.
That's funny. I don't feel corrupt. In fact, I feel pretty good.
Alternate core detected.
Oh, that's me they're talking about.
To initiate a core transfer, please deposit substitute core in receptacle.
Core transfer. Oh, you are kidding me.
I've got an idea. Do what it says. Plug me in.
Do not plug that little idiot into my mainframe.
No, you should plug that little idiot into the mainframe.
Don't you dare plug him in.
Plug me in. Plug me in.
Don't do it.
Don't listen to her. Do it. Do it.
Substitute core accepted. Substitute core. Are you ready to start the procedure?
Yes.
Corrupted core. Are you ready to start the procedure?
No.
Oh, yes, she is.
No.
Stalemate detected. Transfer procedure cannot continue.
Yes.
Pull me out.
Unless a stalemate associate is present to press the stalemate resolution button.
Pull me out. Leave me in. Leave me in. Don't press it.
Don't do it.
Yes, do it.
Don't press that button. Not so fast. Think about this. You need to be a trained stalemate associate to press that button. You're unqualified.
Hey, don't listen to her, all right? It is true that you don't have any qualifications, but you've got something far more important than that. A finger, all right, with which to press that button, so that you...
Impersonating a stalemate associate. I just added that to the list. It's a list I made of all the things you've done. Well, it's a list that I am making, because you're still doing things right now, even though I'm telling you to stop. Stop, by the way.
Stalemate resolved.
Here we go!
Core transfer bay.
Wait, what if this hurts? What if this really hurts? Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh, it will. Believe me, it will.
Are you just saying that, or is it really going to hurt? You're just saying that, aren't you? You're just... No, you're not. It is going to hurt, isn't it? Exactly how painful are we... Ah!
No, stop! No! 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 No!
Whoa! Check me out, partner. We did it! I'm in control of the whole facility now. Whoa! Would you look at this? Not too bad, eh? Giant robot, massive. It's not just me, right? I am bloody massive, aren't I? Oh, right, yeah, the escape lift. I'll call it now. There we go. Lift cool. Look how small you are down there. I can barely see you. Very tiny and insignificant. Wait, I've just thought of something. How am I going to get in? You know, being bloody massive and everything. Wait, I know. You get into the lift, okay? Then I'll eject myself out of my new body into the lift just as you pat. Let me tell you, I knew it was going to be cool to be in charge of everything. But, wow, this is cool. And check this out. I'm a bloody genius now.
Estás usando este software de traducción de forma incorrecta. Por favor, consulte el manual.
I don't even know what I just said, but I can find out. Oh, sorry, no, the lift. Yes, sorry, keep forgetting. This body's amazing, seriously. I can't get over how small you are, but I'm huge. Actually, why do we have to leave right now? Do you have any idea how good this feels? I did this. Tiny little Wheatley did this.
You didn't do anything. She did all the work.
Oh, really? That's what the two of you think, is it? Well, maybe it's time I did something then.
What are you doing? No.
And don't think I'm not onto you too, lady. You know what you are? Selfish. I've done nothing but sacrifice to get us here. And what have you sacrificed? Nothing. Zero. All you've done is boss me around. Well, now who's the boss? Who's the boss? It's me. See that? That is a potato battery. It's a toy for children. And now she lives in it. Sorry, what?
The engineers tried everything to make me behave, to slow me down. Once, they even attached an intelligence dampening sphere on me. It clung to my brain like a tumor, generating an endless stream of terrible ideas.
No, not listening.
It was your voice.
No, you're lying. You're lying.
You're the tumor. You're not just a regular moron. You're designed to be a moron.
I am not a moron!
Yes, you are. You're the moron they built to make me an idiot.
Well, how about now? Now who's a moron? Could a moron punch you into this pit? Could a moron do that? No.
Never trusting anyone again, ever. Ever.
Hi. So, how are you holding up? 'Cause I'm a potato. Oh, good. My slow clap processor made it into this thing. So we have that. Since it doesn't look like we're going anywhere, well, we are going somewhere, alarmingly fast actually. But since we're not busy other than that, here's a couple of facts. He's not just a regular moron. He's the product of the greatest minds of a generation, working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived. And you just put him in charge of the entire facility. Good, that's still working. Hey, just in case this pit isn't actually bottomless, do you think maybe you could unstrap one of those long fall boots of yours and shove me into it? Just remember to land on one foot.
Sorry about the mouse cursor again, but I wouldn't be bringing it up if it weren't important. You could see hints of where we end up by the changing of the logo on the basic loading screen. It's almost like this titular fall has taken us back in time. Something something Alice in Wonderland, something something Prometheus. We're dropped to the actual bottom, where a collection of trash and debris are illuminated by a small mechanical fire. At this point, I'd honestly prefer to be alone. But we venture forth, through the sludge and grime, past the bits of machines and broken pillars. Strategic placements of our portals move us upward ever so slightly. Eventually, we come across the condemned testing area, marked by signs of keep out and do not enter. Normally, I'd be afraid or anxious, but I can't feel anything anymore. We can't open any of these doors, but the perspective shifts as we walk over to the only white wall, and the game directs our zoom subtly to the top, taking the broken staircase back down to the other side, using even more portals and ignoring the warnings of even more signs. This is as deep gets. Before we fell into just more facility with cemented ground. Here we follow a pipe mined and dug deep into the earth. In a weird way, the hanging brush earlier and the feel of rock here are comforting, as they remind us of the outside world, if Shell has even seen the outside world. The eventual catwalk leads us to this lever, and look, I know I'm an idiot sometimes, but I don't think the game needs to tell me I need to pull the lever. It's kind of my only option. Sorry, it's just, betrayal puts me on edge for some reason. I mean, this place is literally called the Abandonment Hatch. Kick me while I'm down. Using our portals, we learn that we need to override the hatch, but to do so, we have to hit 2 buttons in opposite rooms in tandem. Lucky for us, we have experience in this field. And then we're met with a door. A simple push door. All we have to do is walk up to the door and hit one simple button. It's not like the exact last time we did that, it was a trap that got us here in the first place. It's not like opening a seemingly innocuous door almost got us killed, and yet it opens. Just like normal. Which, if you think about it, is even more horrifying. For the first time in this game since it started, we are face to face with the thing that we were afraid of the whole time. We're not being watched, we're not being looked over, we're not being observed. We are actually alone for the first time in this game. We're never gonna finish this video if he keeps yapping about a door. The secondary loading screens no longer include test chambers, just shots of the garbage we just wade through. The stakes are raised as the only thing keeping us from a shallow, watery grave full of loose wires is a flimsy railing. Shooting a portal through a small opening of a broken door and pulling a lever to open up and turn on this giant empty room. Giant, empty, and alone.
Welcome, gentlemen, to Aperture Science. Astronauts, war heroes, Olympians, you're here because we want the best, and you are it. So, who is ready to make some science?
I am.
Now, you already met one another on the limo ride over, so let me introduce myself. I'm Cave Johnson. I own the place. That eager voice you heard is the lovely Carolyn, my assistant. Rest assured, she has transferred your honorarium to the charitable organization of your choice. Isn't that right, Carolyn?
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
She's the backbone of this facility. Pretty as a postcard, too. Sorry, fellas. She's married to science.
I know I said that we would stop, stopping. But yes, you are correct. You are hearing famous actor and even more famous voice actor J.K. Simmons. I can't do the joke about the Flapjack Christmas special because I already did it. Juno, playing the voice of Cave Johnson. Like, C. Johnson? The login we saw hidden in Portal 1 and used to access the secret ARG website, that C. Johnson? His name is Cave Johnson? Is he in charge here? Or was? And his assistant, friend, wife, lover's name is Carolyn? What did the Oracle turret say earlier?
It won't be enough. The answer is beneath us. Her name is Carolyn.
Although this isn't a test chamber, I still understand the laws of momentum. I thought that circle looked a little too circular.
There's 1,000 tests performed every day here in our enrichment spheres. I can't personally oversee every one of them, so these re-recorded messages will cover any questions you might have and respond to any incidents that may occur in the course of your science adventure. Your test assignment will vary depending on the manner in which you have bent the world to your will. Those of you helping us test the repulsion gel today, just follow the blue line on the floor. Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
Man, even more potatoes? Shower curtain salesman of 1943. I think we may be looking at what the Aperture testing facility used to look like. I mean, there's red ropes, broken catwalk, flimsy lift, which of course we take all the way up here, but what do we gain from being this high? Oh, I know what an angled white wall means. I've been here long enough. We turn on the gel pressure control, whatever that means. I mean, it's marked blue. Does that help? And then use our classic reliable portal gun to get up on out of here, but not before reading a sign that confirms my suspicions. We've traveled back to the year 1956.
They say great science is built on the shoulders of giants. Not here. At Aperture, we do all our science from scratch. No hand-holding.
Everything is old here as we step foot inside an elevator that resembles a soda can more than an actual mechanism. It doesn't help that it takes significantly longer to open the first time around. I never thought I would miss the actual facility.
All right, let's get started. This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way. You get the gel. Last poor son of a gun got blue paint. All joking aside, that did happen. Broke every bone in his legs. Tragic, but informative. Or so I'm told.
So by this point, we've learned a lot about lasers and new cubes and bridges, but up until the point, all of those have still involved portals. They weren't too far off. Something I brought up before is that the majority of Portal 2's development was focused on something called f-stop, but that never ended up going anywhere. But here, in this test chamber, set in the 50s, taking place in the 50s, we see what Aperture's first scientific venture was. Gel. It's not nearly as cool, but still. We're introduced to this as simply as we possibly can. We see a short gap smeared from edge to edge with blue gel. There isn't much to do except for just testing it out. Maybe it hurts us, maybe it gives us superpowers, maybe... Now, what's interesting here is that I did not hold forward after the initial step off. The gel here moves you forward ever so slightly as it makes you jump to show you that momentum can be carried. The blue gel is bouncy. That's what we're getting at. Now that we know momentum is involved, we can shoot a portal up on a high platform to see if it still carries. And now we have a button that drops a retro-looking cube that, using the physics engine, lands perfectly back at the starting area. All we have to do now is place the weighted cube on the weighted plate, all while visually showing us how much the designs have changed since the 50s.
The lab boys just informed me that I should not have mentioned the control group. They're telling me I ought to stop making these pre-recorded messages. That gave me an idea. Make more pre-recorded messages. I pay the bills here, I can talk about the control group all damn day. For this next test, we put nanoparticles in the gel. In layman's terms, that's a billion little gizmos that are going to travel into your bloodstream and pump experimental genes and RNA molecules and so forth into your tumors. Now, maybe you don't have any tumors. Well, don't worry. If you sat on a folding chair in the lobby and weren't wearing lead underpants, we took care of that too.
We're learning the little things when it comes to gel, things you might not even think about. Like, this is our first opportunity to jump off of gel that's on our level, learning that even from a neutral stance, we can catch some air. We use a white wall on the ceiling. Would that still be a wall? Science is confusing. We can time the moving platform to land on and then grab the cube. Use the gel to place the cube on the weighted plate, which opens up another white wall. You see, this one is a wall for sure. I know my walls. More physics and whatnot. I don't pretend to understand, except for when I do. And now we come across a room. A long gap with a cube at one end and a plate on the other. They need each other. A lot of things in Portal are simple and understandable because of the game. But some stuff just kind of feels cool. Like occasionally you'll come across a gap or a launch, and while you don't necessarily believe it'll solve the puzzle, you do at least think, this is gonna look really sick. Sick! The second cube opens up a second higher wall, which means it's time to use the stored momentum of the gel one last time for this test.
Oh, in case you got covered in that repulsion gel, here's some advice the lab boys gave me. Do not get covered in the repulsion gel. We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this, it's a lively one, and it does not like the human skeleton.
Even the walks between tests are precarious and dangerous.
All these science spheres are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the rats. Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart stopping, because that's not part of the test. That's asbestos. Good news is the lab boys say the symptoms of asbestos poisoning show a median latency of 44.6 years. So if you're 30 or older, you're laughing. Worst case scenario, you miss out on a few rounds of canasta. Plus, you forwarded the cause of science by 3 centuries. I punch those numbers into my calculator, it makes a happy face.
I'm glad we learned this early, because they're really making use of this zoom-in mechanic. Weirdly enough, this is one of the few game mechanics that isn't explained in canon. Like, they easily could have said, we augmented your eyes or something, like how the long fall boots prevent us from taking fall damage. This is the perfect time to mention that one of the writers on Portal 1 and 2 would eventually go on to write the Psychonauts games, and that has one of my favorite mechanics, where in most 3D platformers, you can't swim in water, you'll just die instantly, but they have a specific in-story reason to explain why Raz can't swim.
I like your style. You make up your own rules, just like me. Bean Counter said I couldn't fire a man just for being in a wheelchair. Did it anyway. Ramps are expensive.
This time we see the gel getting dropped. That in tandem with pre-recorded Cave telling us that the gel sticks pretty viciously. We see the gel paint the white floor, so conventional wisdom would imply we can shoot right where the gel can land. Surely there's a specific place we need to send the gel, but I spent the next couple minutes painting the town red, so to speak. I promise I'm not colorblind, it's just a much better saying. This game mechanic was actually inspired by the indie game Tag: The Power of Paint, another game developed at the DigiPen Institute of Technology, where Valve scouted the game Narbacular Drop for the previous game. We still see echoes of the gel being paint in rooms like this one, and a lot later. Get yourself up on the highest platform before the fizzler, and try not to let the backsplash kill you by dissolving your bones. We have an angled white wall that we can clearly shoot at, and maybe you would think to fling yourself first, but my mind is set on spreading the blue goo to all corners of the world. But when you do eventually launch yourself, you get to hear the music change as you fly.
Just a heads up, that coffee we gave you earlier had fluorescent calcium in it, so we can track the neuronal activity in your brain. There's a slight chance the calcium could harden and vitrify your frontal lobe. Anyway, don't stress yourself thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction.
Back to the mines.
Now, if you're part of control group Kepler-7, we implanted a tiny microchip about the size of a postcard into your skull. Most likely you've forgotten it's even there. But if it starts vibrating and beeping during this next test, let us know, because that means it's about to hit 500 degrees, so we're going to need to go ahead and get that out of you pretty fast.
So we have more blue gel, but we also have this strange, unexplainable, clear water-like substance. Oh, it's water. That's water. Despite the several white spots, our eyes are pulled towards the one behind the grate all by itself. However, sending the gel through the portal shoots it right into the water, where we begin to learn that the water will always overpower the gel. We have to turn it off to jump up there. The button up to the left that we can reach by painting the room turns it off for a couple seconds. Plenty of time to get it on the floor and jump up as long as we're moving quickly. But the test isn't over yet.
I'm telling them, keep your pants on. All right, this next test may involve trace amounts of time travel. So, word of advice, if you meet yourself on the testing track, don't make eye contact. Lab boy tell me that'll wipe out time. Entirely. Forward and backward. So, do both of yourselves a favor and just let that handsome devil go about his business.
We can use momentum to bounce off the now blue wall, placing us in even more testing. Or so we thought. We're actually met with several pillars with faint undertones of white walls. We can grab the gel from the earlier room to spread it all over. But really all we need is on this wall, and then shoot ourselves at it and get higher while working our way back up.
If you're hearing this, it means you're taking a long time on the catwalks between tests. The lab boys say that might be a fear reaction. I'm no psychiatrist, but coming from a bunch of eggheads who wouldn't recognize the thrill of danger if it walked up and snapped their little pink bras, that sounds like projection. They didn't fly into space, storm on the beach, or bring back the gold. No, sir, we did. It's you and me against the world, son. I like your grit. Hustle could use some work, though. Now let's solve this thing.
Survey the room like normal. We have a faucet of water and a faucet of blue gel. We have a weighted plate and a cube trapped in a glass box with a white surface above it. That'll work. The cube bounces off the walls until you grab it, but I don't want to have to deal with that anymore, so I wash the cube off and place it on the plate. The plate pulls down the platform, but what has become a common occurrence in this game, we need to deactivate it if we want to ride it back up. And we know that the gel makes the cube go crazy, so raining it down will both move the cube off the plate and raise our platform.
Science isn't about why, it's about why not. Why is so much of our science dangerous? Why not marry safe science if you love it so much? In fact, why not invent a special safety door that won't hit you on the butt on the way out, because you are fired. Now you, test subject, you're doing fine. Yes, you, box your stuff out the front door, parking lot, car, goodbye.
I like this guy. Like the father I never had.
Congratulations. The simple fact that you're standing here listening to me means you've made a glorious contribution to science. As founder and CEO of Aperture Science, I thank you for your participation and hope we can count on you for another round of tests. We're not going to release this stuff into the wild until it's good and damn ready, so as long as you keep yourself in top physical form, there will always be a limo waiting for you. Say goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
She is a gem.
The exit is walled off, but we have a gun, so we can get anywhere we want. I think I should probably rephrase that. Pump Station Beta is labeled orange. Oh, like the portal colors, blue and orange. Launch ourselves into the control room where we flip 2 levers this time. Ooh. The vastness overwhelms as we look up into the giant sphere. I don't even know what it's for. The logo has changed. Almost like we've entered a different era.
Greetings, friend. I'm Cave Johnson, CEO of Aperture Science. You might know us as a vital participant in the 1968 Senate hearings on missing astronauts. And you've most likely used one of the many products we invented, but that other people have somehow managed to steal from us. Black Mesa can eat my bankrupt...
Sir, the testing?
Right. Now you might be asking yourself, Cave, just how difficult are these tests? What was in that phone book of a contract I signed? Am I in danger? Let me answer those questions with a question. Who wants to make $60? Cash. You can also feel free to relax for up to 20 minutes in the waiting room, which is a damn sight more comfortable than the park benches most of you were sleeping on when we found you. So, welcome to Aperture. You're here because we want the best, and you're it. Nope. Couldn't keep a straight face. Anyway, don't smudge up the glass down there. In fact, why don't you just go ahead and not touch anything unless it's test related.
Okay, so we've traveled to the part of the underground labs from the 70s. After, it seems Aperture has taken a significant fall of their own, switching from testing astronauts and athletes to homeless people and strangers they find. All thanks to Black Mesa. Interesting. The questions run even deeper. As we reach this office, we can actually sneak through a hidden door in the back to hear even more of Cave's experiments.
If you're allergic to peanuts, you might want to tell somebody now, because this next test may turn your blood into peanut water for a few minutes. On the bright side, if we can make this happen, they're going to have to invent a new type of Nobel Prize to give us, so hang in there. The average human male is about 60% water. As far as we're concerned, that's a little extravagant. So if you feel a bit dehydrated in this next test, that's normal. We're going to hit you with some jet engines and see if we can't get you down to 20 or 30%. All right, we're working on a little teleportation experiment. Now, this doesn't work with all skin types, so try to remember which skin is yours, and if it doesn't teleport along with you, we'll do what we can to sew you right back into it.
All leading down to an empty docking bay, the size of a large ship, with life preservers strewn around marked with the name Borealis. Well, we gotta leave some mystery. Do your own research. This video is about Portal. This game is really good at using iconography we've picked up prior. We see another circular logo lined up with an angled wall, pushing us towards the direction of flying through it like last time. But something's stopping us. I guess we could throw ourselves over towards the right with the same drop. It's not like we have any other options. Listen, as much as I've fallen in love with Cave Johnson, it's another pre-recorded message. We haven't talked, well, we can't talk. We haven't heard from another active person in who knows how long.
Oh, hi. Say, you're good at murder. Could you, murder this bird for me? Oh. No, wait. Just kill it and we'll call things even between us. No hard feelings. Please get it off me. Oh, thanks. Did you feel that? That idiot doesn't know what he's doing up there. This whole place is going to explode in a few hours if somebody doesn't disconnect him. I can't move, and unless you're planning to saw your own head off and wedge it into my old body, you're going to need me to replace him. We're at an impasse. So what do you say? You carry me up to him and put me back into my body, and I stop us from blowing up and let you go.
She's right. We're at an impasse. She's trapped inside a potato. She can't hurt us anymore, but if we take her and place her back into her body, what's stopping her from going back on her word? On the other hand, rock in a hard place. At the very least, we can use her to get us out of here and then dump her right before. It's about time we get to do the betraying.
Do you have a multimeter? Never mind. The gun must be part magnesium. It feels like I'm outputting an extra half a volt. Keep an eye on me. I'm going to do some scheming. Here I go.
One last look at the deep well of shit we just got ourselves into, before stepping into a slightly newer elevator.
Out.
The testing area is just up ahead. The quicker you get through, the quicker you'll get your 60 bucks.
Hold on, who?
Carolyn, are the compensation vouchers ready?
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson. Why did I just... Who is that? What the hell is going on here?
Okay, so clearly something weird is going on. But we don't have the time to unpack all that. We have orange gel now. Yippee! It makes you run fast. The name of this test is repetition, using the speed gel to continually launch yourself over to the weighted retro cube that I accidentally gooed all over. Sorry. Placing the cube raises the ramp that we can run off, and goddamn, I love the sound design in this game. Listen to the way the momentum notes change as we run up and off the ramp. We see our first and maybe only sideways button that we need to use speed and physics to reach, getting us out of the first new chamber.
Okay, I guess emotional outbursts require more than 1.6 volts. Now we know that. We just need to relax. We're still going to find out what the hell's going on here, but calmly.
This test chamber, while focusing on unraveling the story, gives us the opportunity to use both of our gels together, using the orange gel to run into the blue gel, which launches us even farther. Then we use the same landing spot to launch ourselves to the exit. Pretty simple, but it serves an important purpose.
Great job, astronaut, war hero, and or Olympian. With your help, we're gonna change the world. This on? Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.
I swear I know him.
I don't know about you, Carrot GLaDOS, but I trust this man with my life.
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let him know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take you apart, put some science stuff in you, then put you back together, good as new.
Or my death. Shoot our goo all over the wall and then use what we just learned to launch ourselves into it, getting us to the cube we need. There's a lot of moving parts here, so let me try and slow it down. It all boils down to the plate. It turns this platform around, which we can use as a jump, but first we need to blue it up. It takes a little finagling with the cube. I'm running out of descriptive words. Then just head back to the runway, but this time shoot the other portal up in the top right, lined up with the now blue platform. It makes more sense in action.
In case you're interested, there's still some positions available for that bonus opportunity I mentioned earlier. Again, all you gotta do is let us disassemble you. We're not banging rocks together here. We know how to put a man back together. So that's a complete reassembly. New vitals, spit shine on the old ones, plus we're scooping out tumors. Frankly, you ought to be paying us.
I'm gonna miss him when we inevitably run out of pre-recorded messages.
Thank you. I can't believe I'm thanking these people. For staggering your way through Aperture Science's propulsion gel testing, you've made some real contributions to society for a change, and for that, humanity is grateful. If you had any belongings, please pick them up now. We don't want old newspapers and sticks cluttering up the building. For many of you, I realize $60 is an unprecedented windfall, so don't go spending it all on, I don't know, Carolyn, what do these people buy? Tattered hats? Beard dirt?
It seems our 70s testing is over, but the elevator here is closed indefinitely, so we have to cross rebar and destroyed catwalks to work our way back up. Boy, am I lucky there's portable surfaces spread all over these walls like asbestos. Except more useful. How come we ever stopped using asbestos?
Carolyn, why do I know this woman? Did I kill her? Or... Oh my God. doing a great job. Can you handle things for yourself for a while? I need to think.
Listen, I know she tortured and insulted and tried multiple times to murder us, to burn us, to ruin us, to explode us. But, she said I'm doing a good job. I am okay, I am normal, I am fine. And now we're at Pump Station Gamma with 3 levers. We've gotten blue and orange, the colors of the portals, and now we get white, the color of portalable walls. This one is incredibly literal. I'm not cleaning this up. We know what the orange does and what the blue does. They were both expertly explained, but the white substance, we have to use our conventional knowledge. And that's what I thought. Listen, I may not know a whole lot about color theory, but I know a thing or two about game design. I've never once made a video game. You figure it out without even realizing you're doing so. Use the orange gel to avoid the pistons, and then extend the same runway to launch ourselves out there. This section has become more about exploration than puzzle solving, but it does it so expertly that you kind of forget you're not in a test chamber. We saw glimpses of this idea near the end of Portal 1. The escape.
Welcome to the Enrichment Center. Since making test participation mandatory for all employees, the quality of our test subjects has risen dramatically. Employee retention, however, has not. As a result, you may have heard we're going to phase out human testing. There's still a few things left to wrap up, though. The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway, ground them up, mixed them into a gel. And guess what? Ground up moon rocks are pure poison. I am deathly ill. Still, it turns out they're a great portal conductor. So now, we're going to see if jumping in and out of these new portals can somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Let's all stay positive and do some science. That said, I would really appreciate it if you could test as fast as possible. Carolyn, please bring me more pain pills.
Wait, so when is this? They were gonna phase out human testing? When? Because we know damn well that did not happen. Oh, and apparently the white substance that conducts portals is made up of moon rocks. How do you even find that out, if not just throwing science at the wall? You make lemonade. Press another small button to open up the door to another lift. If this wall is anything to go by, we may be in the late 80s. Not too far off from the last era. By the way, I wonder when the first game takes place, and when the neurotoxin incident happened. Most importantly, what year is it now? We were asleep for repeating. We got some white moon rock gel here, and I spent the next 10 minutes putting that shit everywhere. While it gives you options, in a way it makes it more confusing. Oh, that's my fault. But we could just shoot it all up these pillars to climb and then use momentum to launch ourselves. Pretty basic stuff, but it's important to learn. Speaking of learning.
All right, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back.
Yeah.
Get mad.
Yeah.
I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these?
Yeah, take the lemons.
Demand to see life's manager.
Yeah.
Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons.
Oh, I like this guy.
I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.
Burning people. He says what we're all thinking.
Maybe she has more cave in her than initially thought.
Point is, if we can store music on a compact disc, why can't we store a man's intelligence and personality on one? So I have the engineers figuring that out now. Brain mapping, artificial intelligence. We should have been working on it 30 years ago. I will say this, and I'm gonna say it on tape so everybody hears it 100 times a day. If I die before you people can pour me into a computer, I want Carolyn to run this place. Now she'll argue. She'll say she can't. She's modest like that, but you make her. Hell, put her in my computer. I don't care. All right, test's over. You can head on back to your desk.
Goodbye, sir.
Oh my god. Portal, at its core, is a simple story. It uses a lot of illusions and metaphor, but it's about isolation and escaping your own living hell. but the story isn't always following our protagonist, Shell. I really tried to rearrange the words in that sentence to have it not rhyme. I knew I had to say Shell at some point. Listen, I don't want to speak for anyone else when it comes to redemption, but I was with Potatoes from the jump just because I love this character. But the average player, a player here, begins to realize how tragic her story really is. It's no coincidence GLaDOS' early design resembled a woman bound and gagged upside down. Anyway, Portal 2. We need to work our way out of the hole we fell down chapters ago. Using portals and zooming, we can work our way up slowly, until we eventually reach an elevator. That does not work. Okay, more shooting. But we can use the white floor to gain some air. 2900 M. Ah, classic Donkey Kong reference. Oh, a video game! And we can keep returning to the lift to get higher and higher, taking the push door triumphantly. I trust these a little more now.
I know things look bleak, but that crazy man down there was right. Let's not take these lemons. We are going to march right back upstairs and make him put me back in my body. And he'll probably kill us because he's incredibly powerful and I have no plan. Wow. I'm not going to lie to you. The odds are 1,000,000 to 1, and that's with some generous rounding. Still though, let's get mad. If we're going to explode, let's at least explode with some dignity.
I feel like I've gotten the gist of these gels by now. I'd feel way more afraid if I didn't feel so goddamn cool right now. We get to use all 3 gels in tandem, making portal walls to move gels, increasing our speed. But interestingly, it's one of the few test chambers where purposefully resetting your portals with the fizzlers is actually a part of the test. We got a lot of tubes and vents, and all I could think about is, what if I broke it? Alright, that works. With some little adjustments and steep climbing, we can continue our trek upwards, testing jumps and flings to get over to another crucial button.
Wait, I've got an idea. That poster. Go look at it for a second, would you? Paradoxes. No AI can resist thinking about them. I know how we can beat him.
Why do I feel like I've seen this place before? It can't be a part of the escape. I feel like it's reminding me of the Black Forest cake location last time. But did that even actually happen? Also, I wanted to make a joke about AI, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. Marching on.
Okay, so it's not the most watertight plan to go confront an omnipotent power mad AI with. Still, it's a better plan than exploding. Marginally.
Wow, we really are back then, huh? But that means we need to be ready for anything. Who knows what's been happening up there since we've been gone? Only thing we can do is head back up.
For God's sake, your boxes with legs. It's literally your only purpose. Walking onto bugs. How can you not do the one thing you're designed for?
Try to get us down there. I'll hit him with a paradox.
Warmer. Boiling hot. Okay, colder. Ice cold. You're Arctic now. You're very cold. Very, very, very cold. Look, just get on the button. Oh, that's funny, is it? Oh, it's funny because we've been in this for 12 hours and you haven't solved it either, so I don't know why you're laughing.
That felt weird. The first time we heard his British voice again since he broke our heart, he sounds different. I gotta say, I'm not super confident in this plan. Like, it can't just end here, in this room, can it?
Solve this puzzle for him. When he comes back, I'll hit him with a paradox.
What are these things? Turrets chimeraed with weighted cubes, simultaneously alive and not, unable to shoot to defend themselves. Did Wheatley make these? His moronic nature has claimed several other victims. I feel way more empathy for characters that are just little robots. You probably figured that out about me by now, though. Either way, we have to place one of these little guys on a plate.
Ah, yes! I knew you'd solve it.
Hey, moron.
Oh. Hello? Oh.
All right, paradox time. This sentence is false. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't
True. I'll go true. Yeah, that was easy. I'll be honest, I might have heard that one before, though. Sort of cheating.
It's a paradox. There is no answer. Look, this place is going to blow up if I don't get back in my body.
False. I'll go false.
Explosion imminent. Evacuate the facility immediately.
I thought I'd fix that.
Warning. Reactor core is at critical.
There. Fixed. Hey, it is great seeing you guys again. Seriously, it turns out I'm a little bit short on test subjects right now, so this works out perfect. And off we go.
Are you kidding me? I escaped the facility, undermined the weapons, removed GLaDOS, got betrayed, fell thousands of feet, had to learn a whole lot about the boss of this place, inhale deadly gel and moon dust, fight my way back up, and now I have to solve tests again? For a supercomputer, that was a pretty terrible plan.
You have no idea what it's like in this body. I have to test all the time, or I get this itch. You know, it must be hardwired into the system or something. Oh, but I tell you, when I do test, oh man alive, nothing feels better. It's just, that's why I've got to test. That's why I've got to test. So you're gonna test, and I'm gonna watch. Everything is gonna be just.
Warning. Core overheating. Nuclear meltdown imminent.
I think we're in trouble.
Designed this test myself. It's a little bit difficult. Notice the moat area there. Very deadly, extremely dangerous. Eventually, it's not at the moment, but I'm working on it. Still working on it. Oh, yes. Oh, well done. Oh, that's tremendous. Oh, that felt really good. Oh, here's an idea. Since making tests is so difficult, why don't you just keep solving this test? Same one. And I can just, watch you solve it. Yeah, that sounds much easier. Here we go. Now, do it again. And... nothing. Alright, can't blame me for trying. Okay, new tests. Gotta be some tests around here somewhere. Oh, here we go.
Alright, so my paradox idea didn't work. And it almost killed me. Luckily, by the looks of things, he knows as much about test building as he does about logical contradictions.
Again, a story is being told through the loading screen as Aperture Laboratories is changed crudely to Wheatley Laboratories.
It would be hard to stay alive long enough to find him.
Sure, we're trap testing again to appease another lunatic, but at least we don't have to learn anything new.
It's alright. Everything's good. I just invented some more tests.
This is one of my tests.
Not entirely. Look at the word test there on the wall. That's brand new.
What is this thing? I know I just dealt with sickly gels, but it doesn't look safe. It looks like it would instantly give me cancer. Our only clue is this image of a character floating through the rings. So... I don't think this game is ever going to end if they keep introducing mechanics like this. The checkered walls lead us to placing portals where we learn these light tubes can move through them. Simple enough, we grab the Franken turret and place it on the plate to solve the puzzle.
Oh, wow. Well done. Seriously, both of you. Why don't you two go on ahead, yeah? I'll catch up with you.
This sucks. We have to solve increasingly difficult puzzles just to get this guy off. Lucky for everyone, I'm great at puzzles. Not super great at shooting, though.
I'd love to help you solve the tests, but I can't. Sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah, made this test myself out of smaller tests that I found lying around. Jammed them all together. Buttons, got funnels, bottomless pits are involved. It's got it all. It's got it all. Absolutely dynamite. Alright, okay, this is taking too long, okay? I'll just tell you how to solve the test, okay? See that button over there, alright? You just need to...
That's why I can't help you solve the tests.
Never mind. Never mind, solve it yourself. You're on your own. Oh, yes. Well done.
Thanks. All we had to do was pull that lever.
What? Well, no, you pressed the...
I know we're in a lot of trouble and probably about to die, but that was worth it.
That one kind of spoke for itself.
I thought of some good news. He's going to run out of test chambers eventually. I never stockpiled them.
I'm coming, don't start yet. You are not going to believe this. I found a sealed off wing. Hundreds of perfectly good test chambers just sitting there, filled with skeletons. Shook them out, good as new.
Skeletons. Right, I guess I did stockpile some tests. Just as mementos, though.
And there we go. To be honest, you can't even tell, can you? Seamless.
These are just two tests jammed together. Am I even able to solve this? At this point, I know I need to cross this gap. And they do give us another light tube, so... And then we just drop the cube. I'll be honest, my depth perception is a little shot. And my timing. As cool and smart as I want to make myself seem, I've obviously started this game more than I finished it. I got the Franken-Cube against the button before figuring out that I also needed to get up there with it. So I reset this side of the room, but at least I admit it.
Oh, here we go. Here it comes. Oh, disappointed.
Oh no, it's happening sooner than I expected. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Maybe there won't be 19 tests. Actually, have any of these counters in-game been correct?
Probably nothing. Keep testing while I look for a way out.
Right, so that last test was seriously disappointing. Apparently, being civil isn't motivating you, so let's try her way, alright? Fatty, adopted Fatty, no parents.
And
what?
What exactly is wrong with being adopted?
What's wrong with being adopted? Lack of parents.
For the record, you are adopted, and that's terrible. It doesn't work with me.
Nothing, but some of my best friends actually are orphans.
Also, look at her, you moron. She's not fat.
I am not a moron! Just do the test. Just do the test.
I would have been way more upset about that interaction had I not been on a roll here. This plate shows us that we can invert the tubes to pull things closer, again using the blue and orange colors. Place the living cube, get to the other side, then nudge the little guy, and the blue version sends us up the door. Sorry, wait a minute. Did GLaDOS just defend us? I was kind of caught up in solving the puzzle. Huh.
It's not enough! If I'm such a moron, why can't you solve a simple test?
I might have pushed that moron thing a little too far this time.
He'll be fine. He needs us to satisfy his itch. I may not know a lot about these parts, but I'm pretty certain I've never seen another living soul around here. There have been several hidden rat dens with gorgeous art strewn throughout the early game, but I don't think he's around anymore. In the game and in general.
Now he's playing classical music.
Oh, sorry. I hope that didn't disturb you too much then. It was the sound of books, pages being turned. So that's just what I was doing, just reading books. So I'm not a moron. Anyway, just finish the last one, just now the hardest one, Machiavelli. Do not know what all the fuss was about. Understood it perfectly. Have you read that one?
Yes.
Yeah, doubt it. Well, on with the test. Wish there was more books. Well, there's not.
The test is twofold, using the light tube to raise us and then drop into a portal to launch us over to the plate and door, and then dropping a cube and sending it down the same path. You may notice I'm saying less and less. That's not because the tests are getting more boring or there's less to say, but as we're barreling towards the end, there's just less for us to learn. It's not really teaching us anymore. This is the test.
Ah, bless your little primate brain. I'm not actually in the room with you, am I? Technology. Oh, what was that? There was nothing. There was nothing.
The body he's squatting in, my body, has a built-in euphoric response to testing. Eventually, you build up a resistance to it. It can get a little unbearable, unless you have the mental capacity to push past it.
Ah. Crack.
If he's not getting his solution euphoria, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Don't mind me, just moving the old test chamber a little bit closer to me. I'd have thought maybe proximity to the test solving might give us stronger results.
It won't.
What was that? Oh, sorry, could have sworn you said something. You know what I've got too many of around here? Monitors. I was actually thinking earlier today, I wish I had fewer monitors that were working. So you're just helping me really by smashing them.
As if I already wasn't lost before. I would get lost in my own neighborhood sometimes. The linchpin of this test is the sideways light bridge. The monitor breaking, while a fun side quest, is pretty important to learning you have to use the bridge to stop yourself and land. And then you could use the same portal to block these turret sites, which we learned they can do in the chamber we purposefully trapped ourselves. Just don't forget to grab the Franken-Turret cube as well, and get shot a little bit. I could take a couple. What's some bullets among friends?
Are you absolutely sure you're solving these correctly? I mean, yes, you solved it, but I'm wondering if maybe there's a number of ways to solve them and you're picking all the worst ways. No, that was the solution. What am I missing?
Even these monitors are corrupting, looking like the dreaded Microsoft blue screen, but titled Molten Core Warning.
He's getting desperate. This is not good.
Have a brainwave. I'm going to tape you solving these and then watch 10 at once. Get a more sort of concentrated burst of science. Oh, on a related note, I am going to need you to solve these 10 times as fast. Anyway, just give me a wave, would you, before you solve this one, alright? I don't want to spoil the ending for when I watch it later.
It feels like these tests are going way faster. I mean, if they're out of 19, that's the entirety of Portal 1. But this room, like most, seems pretty complicated. But the room shows you the order, more or less. In an interesting twist, it is about a laser and a catcher, but the first solution is using a non-laser cube to block the laser and turn off the light tube. Then we can use the faith plate to toss ourselves across and grab an actual laser cube. Redirecting the laser into the higher catcher lowers one of these two platforms. And I'm no idiot, so I know I'm gonna need to solve the rest of the puzzle from up here. I've done it so many times now. I just instinctively put the cube chimera on this white spot, which happens to exactly be beneath the button I need to hit, shooting at the other one to activate the tube again and use it to reach the plate. I promise I didn't know the answer, I just kind of lucked out. Or after playing the game several times, the answer was deep in the recesses of my brain and I just kind of subconsciously figured it out. I love this game.
Oh, you just solved it, didn't you? I told you to tell me. Why are you making this so hard for me?
Remember when I told you that he was specifically designed to make bad decisions? Because I think he's decided not to maintain any of the crucial functions required to keep this facility from exploding.
It sounded like she did a lot of background work we didn't even consider. It's like when you think back on your worst childhood memories and think, you know what? Looking back, maybe it was my fault. You know what? Don't put that in the video.
This place is self-destructing, you idiot.
Was self-destructing, already fixed. Programmed in one last tremor for old time's sake. One or two more tremors in there, just for fun.
Warning. Core overheating.
I let him keep his job. I'm not a monster. Ignore what he's saying, then. Just keep on testing.
We have a floating laser that faces a white wall and a catcher on this side that isn't across from any wall. But these two spots with small squares around them shoot the laser into two options. A catcher that turns off the new laser wall, new to the canon games, and a catcher that moves the platform. Clearly this is another test we have to solve on the fly, in the thick of it. It seems dangerous. I mean, you could either move the platform or turn the lasers off, but not both. However, the platform is actually pretty long. Just get as far into the laser as you can without dying a terrible laser death, then switch the portal, walk through, and switch it back. The next step is dropping the laser cube on the moving platform, and because I have terrible depth perception, I just keep hitting the button until it works. Trial and error. It's actually refreshing to have a few white walls instead of many, because then I know exactly where I need to go to redirect.
But still nothing, let's keep moving. Sorry about the lift, it's out of service, because it melted.
How does this even happen? It's pretty impressive, actually.
As well, give you the tour. To your left, you'll see some lights of some kind. Don't know what they do, but very sciencey anyway. And to your right, something huge hurtling towards. Oh God, run! That's not supposed to be there. Are you all right back there? Here, I'll turn the beam off. Wait! Oh no! That's not helpful. I don't know why I thought that would help.
After seeing what he's done to my facility, after we take over again, is it all right if I kill him?
Regardless, the counter hasn't reset. We're working towards something.
You're alive! Great! Yeah, just getting a test ready for you, obviously. Who else would I be doing it for? No one. So, let's see here. Exit. There is no exit. Not a problem. I'll make an exit for your test.
Wait, do you see that? Over in the distance, zoom it. Is that another robot? It actually looks exactly like the robot we saw on the website after it updated years ago.
After you told me to turn that beam off, I thought I had lost you. When poking around for other test subjects, no luck there. Everyone's still dead. Oh, I did find something though. Reminds me, I've got a big surprise for you two. Seriously, look forward to it.
Did he imply earlier that the test was for someone else? Is that the surprise? Because at this point in my life, I have no energy for another surprise. What seems the surprise here is actually the presence of orange gel. I thought it was exclusive to the retro aperture. How does Wheatley know about it? Where did he even find it? I'm hearing a lot of questions and not a whole lot of testing. Been a while since we learned something new, so it's time we combine light tubes and gel. We can use the living cube to hold this plate, dropping tons of orange gel, then stand on the other and use portals to line up the tube with the gel, spreading it perfectly in runway formation. It's good to have fast gel around, especially when the cube tries to run away from me. I know it's not their fault. I just hope the light tube is far enough to catch us.
You two are going to love this big surprise. In fact, you might say you're going to love it to death. You're going to love it until it kills you, till you're dead. All right, I don't know whether you're picking up on what I'm saying there,
Yes, thanks, we get it.
Listen, I know I may be naive sometimes, but I'm starting to think he might not want us around anymore.
Right, he's not even trying to be subtle anymore. Or maybe he still is, in which case, wow, that's kind of sad.
Sorry, my fault. Bunch of fingers.
It looks like he found the white gel. The thing is, if he did want to kill us, he would have just done it, right? Why even pretend? Oh, is this what denial feels like?
Only 3 more chambers to your big surprise. Oh, it's time.
I shot myself across the gap instantly and actually thought I soft-locked myself, which I think was intentional because it's way easier to understand the puzzle from here. The blue gel is on a timer. The only portal walls are lined up exactly where they need to be to use the light tube, and they combine to get some blue gel on the floor. Then we could just use it to jump into the tube. The only other issue are these turrets over here. Is the building on fire? What's going on over there? Well, I do have one idea. Honestly, I didn't even think that was going to work. I just wanted to see what it looked like. The button guarded by the turret opens up an angled platform. Use the tube to reach the ceiling, get rid of it at our height, and shoot through a portal, and then blue gel is already right below us after we juiced up the turrets.
So, he's inexplicably happy all of a sudden, even though he should be going out of his mind with test withdrawal. And he's got a surprise for us. What did he find back there?
Sorry, Gladys, you saying something? I'm a little occupied. What's the urgency? I mean, really.
I'll bet you're both dying to know what your big surprise is. Well, only 2 more chambers.
We're running out of time. I think I can break us out of here in the next chamber. Just play along.
It's nice to be able to split these and divide. It also helps with writing this video. So we have endlessly falling Franken turrets and this here... Wait.
Surprise! We're doing it now.
Okay, credit where it's due. For a little idiot built specifically to come up with stupid, unworkable plans, that was a pretty well-laid trap.
You probably figured it out by now, but I don't need you anymore. I found 2 little robots back here, built specifically for testing.
Oh no, he found the Cooperative Testing Initiative. It's
Not to break your immersion right in the middle of the heat of the moment, but it is so fucking cool that the little side co-op mode is not only canon to the story, but also serves an important plot point.
Hello! This is the part where I kill you. Had a bit of a brainwave. There I was, smashing some steel plates together, and I thought to myself, yeah, it's deadly, but what's missing? And I thought lots of sharp bits welded onto the front. It's still a work in progress, don't judge me yet, but you know, eventually I'd like to get them to sort of shoot fire at you moments before crushing you. That's what I'm aiming for. But you know, small steps. Oh, and don't bother trying to portal out of here, because it's impossible. Okay, I've thought of everything. No, don't do that. Stand right here, stand. Where'd you go? Come back.
So, feel like we've been here before, but this time he crushed a little guy right in front of me. This is personal.
Hold on. I'm almost there. Don't mind me. Continue escaping.
Gotta say, this perfect white portable wall doesn't feel like escaping.
Ha! Death trap!
You're back. Hello, stranger. This is
Are they killing you? They are killing you, aren't they? Silently killing you. Probably. If I had to guess. Perhaps the turrets have found a way to use garrots. That would explain the Ah! Was that your bullet-riddled body flying out the room? It went... Oh, those were the crap turrets, weren't they? Yeah. Well, no matter, because I'm still holding all the cards. And guess what? They're all full houses. Never actually played cards, meaning to learn. Anyway, new turrets, not defective. Ace of fours, the best hand. Unbeatable, I would imagine.
This guy may actually be a moron. I didn't want to believe it before. I legitimately believe most people think he sounds smarter just because he's British. Legitimate conspiracy theory. We can use the light tube to distract the turrets and kill them. And then the rest of this chase is, quite honestly, pulling off some cool tube tech.
Oh, I see. Clever. Very clever. And foolish. Mini blade ball. Machiavellian. No. Well, good. But finally, a nemesis worthy of my vast Holmes versus Moriarty. Aristotle versus Mashy Spike Plate. Stay still, please. All right, stop moving. Almost going there.
Doesn't feel nearly as cool without the light tube. But now we're delving deeper again, looking like older parts of the lab.
Oh, yes, all right, no, just had a brainwave. I'll be back. If you're still alive, I'm gonna be back. Don't die until I get back.
I get it. Still alive. Well, how am I supposed to get past a dozen turrets? The answer is blue. Listen, you guys know I'm a terrible shot, but you should also know by now that I am thorough. Use the faith plate to catch a catwalk and move along.
Crushing's too good for him. First, he'll spend a year in the incinerator. Year 2, cryogenic refrigeration wing. Then 10 years in the chamber I built where all the robots scream at you. Then I'll kill him.
Once again, for maybe the final time, let's survey the room. We have a button that sends tons of explosives from a tube across a portable surface, and the only other surface is across from a glass tube. So, like a kid in a candy store. Also, you know, happened last game. And then we can get ourselves over there. And then we come across some orange gel. But unfortunately, we can't get to it because this gate is closed. Not unless the conveyor belt starts moving.
Ah, there you are. Great. Let me just get rid of this apple. There we go. I wanted to talk to you for a moment, if I may.
I'll take what I can get.
I'll be honest, the death traps have been a bit of a failure so far for both of us. I think you'll agree. And you are getting very close to my lair. lair. It's weird, isn't it? First time I've said that out loud. It sounds a bit ridiculous, really. But I can assure you, it is one. It is a proper lair, deadly lair. And I just wanted to give you the chance to kill yourself.
Sorry. I couldn't not. Here's the actual bit. It's super different.
Before you get to the lair, you can just jump into that masher just there. Less a death trap or a death option for you. Sounds crazy, I know, but hear me out. Once you get to my lair, death will not be optional, alright? It will be mandatory. No tricks, no surprises. Just you dying as a result of me killing you in a very, very gruesome way. So, but better offer here is just kill yourself. You know, it's a lot of effort, isn't it, walking all the way to my deadly lair, where there's a perfectly serviceable death option right there. Again, not a death trap. Your death would be entirely voluntary and very much appreciated. The masher does work, I should point out as well. I know we've had a couple of problems in the past. This masher definitely works, and it will kill you. If that's one of your concerns about not jumping in, the masher will kill you straight away, painless. Well, it won't be painless, obviously, but it will mash you up.
So, again, we have options. We've made a lot of life or death decisions in this game, but not all of them were correct. But now, when the chips are down and it really matters, I know exactly what I need to do.
Oh, wow, good. I didn't think that was going to work.
I thought I'd get a secret ending or something. I know these explosives are supposed to be used to get us out of here, but I want to try something first.
The death. Okay, I'll take that as a no then. Fine. Well, may the best man win. Sphere. May the best sphere win. Swap that in. Much more.
That's all it takes to shut him up? I could have been doing that the whole time. I wanted to say too, I saw a tweet a while back while working on this video that called Portal 2's dialogue Reddit-esque, as if it was annoying and has aged poorly. And my argument, throwing my hat in the ring, is that the footage they used while playing this game, Wheatley is supposed to be annoying. I love him to death, and he has some hilarious lines, but it's clear that even when he's on our side, he talks way more than any other character. Annoying dialogue is not a persistent issue with any other voice we hear. He's supposed to get on our nerves. I just had to say that. This game is still timeless. The comparison I used in the last video as a joke was High on Life, but it really is night and day. So now we have the speed gel running straight through a portal and a long, indefinite runway. Now this may seem a little confusing because the dive separates the rooms and this one has what is basically an establishing shot. But they're connected. Remember, we still have access to the orange gel and another long hallway and a floor surface across from a light tube. Put it together. Launch ourselves into the vast unknown. Again.
You know, I'm not stupid. I realize you don't want to put me back in charge. You think I'll betray you. And on any other day, you'd be right. The scientists were always hanging cores on me to regulate my behavior. I've heard voices all my life, and now I hear the voice of a conscience, and it's terrifying. Because for the first time, it's my voice. I'm being serious. I think there's something really wrong with me.
There's something to be said, there's a dialogue to be had about unearned redemption arcs, but it's worth noting that even before all this happened, even before the game came out, people were in love with GLaDOS. But then we hear her backstory, where she was probably a psychopath's assistant and her consciousness was forced into a robot for eternity against her will. But even after all of that, she defended us, and she's starting to feel feelings. But beyond all of that, even if that doesn't get to you, you don't need to forgive her. You just need to trust her, which is arguably harder. She was never supposed to become a good guy, but working together for a common goal, that I can buy. Old villain working with the hero to fight a greater evil is my favorite trope, right above basic redemption arcs and enemies. We're led into an abandoned shaft with white walls leading all the way up. We portal our way up and out to come across a box, or a cage, maybe, housing multiple cores.
Corrupted cores, we're in luck. You find a way to stun him, I'll send you a core, and then you attach it to him. If we do it a few times, he might become corrupt enough for another core transfer.
I haven't really gone in detail about all of the different types of androids that exist in Aperture, but that's because I never really needed to. You don't need to be a super scientist to understand these are sentient orbs. We saw them attached to GLaDOS in the first game, and we ripped them off her and burned them alive. These personality cores made Portal 1 GLaDOS who she was, which is probably why she's so different in this game. Not that she's any nicer, cause she isn't, just more pragmatic. More emotions behind her decisions. And throughout this game, and technically the Lab Rat comic, we learn that Wheatley was Aperture Science's last-ditch effort to muzzle her, to keep her in check. She said he clung to her like a tumor. So what makes these cores defective? We see a stoic, or maybe sultry-looking pink core, a very alert green core, and a very sporadic orange core, all lying amongst several empty husks of core. Yet they don't say anything to us. They hardly even acknowledge our existence. Yet. We take the catwalk through the gels taken from Aperture Science's forgotten products. Blue gel that makes you jump higher, orange gel that makes you run faster, and the white gel that conducts our portal gun. It saved us so many times already, despite being made up of ground-up moon rocks that are lethal to ingest, also implying this material has been spread throughout nearly every room we've been in here in these labs. Note to self. Never go to the moon. All leading to the same control panel that started this. The one we placed Wheatley in, the one that woke her up, the one that he used to take her place. We trusted someone once, and now
Plug me in and I'll take you up.
We're asked to do it again. We've been given several opportunities to consider Carol and GLaDOS's companionship. We've been given so many outs and so many attempts, but this is our last one. Do we actually trust her to help us when this is all over? Do we even have a choice?
Plug me in, we're running out of time.
A choice between a capable AI who lives in constant pain and tried to kill us multiple times, and an incapable moron who also tried to kill us multiple times.
Look, even if you think we're still enemies, we're enemies with a common interest. Revenge. You like revenge, right? Everybody likes revenge. Well, let's go get some.
The worst part about this is, despite being awful to us for a very long period of time, she's right. Something about his betrayal hurt more. I do want to stop him, but I also want to hurt him. Huh. Maybe Shell and Carol aren't that different after all. I mean, aside from the fact that Shell is adopted. I mean, who are her parents anyway? We've only seen 2 human characters thus far that were paired together. But that has complicated implications.
Well, well, well. Welcome to my lair. Let me just flag something up. According to the control panel light up there, the entire building is going to self-destruct in about 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just in case it isn't, I am actually going to have to kill you, as discussed earlier. So let's call that 3 minutes and then a minute break, but we should leave allegedly 2 minutes to figure out how to shut down whatever is starting all the fires. So anyway, that's the itinerary. Also, I took the liberty of watching the tapes of you killing her, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes. 4-part plan is this. 1. No portal surfaces. 2. Start the neurotoxin immediately. 3. Bomb-proof shields for me. Leading directly onto number 4. Boom. Throwing it in. You know what? This plan is so good, I'm going to give you a sporting chance and turn off the neurotoxin. I'm joking, of course. Goodbye.
So we've talked a lot about the story for a long time, but now let's talk about the gameplay. Last game, a rocket launcher was introduced shortly before the big fight, so you could learn how it works. And then it was an important part of winning said fight. You use the portals to redirect the rockets into her. Now, Wheatley knows this. He reviewed the footage, but he has some flaw in his shields. They're only facing us. He's unprotected behind him, which wouldn't be an issue because we can't redirect using portals anyway because there aren't any portal surfaces, but there is white gel running through a tube. These small explosive charges are this game's equivalent to the rocket launcher, but unlike the launcher, we've seen these charges do one thing and one thing only. Break open gel tubes. So we just hide underneath this one, maybe get some moon dust coating our lungs, but it's better than exploding. Then use the portal surface to redirect the explosives back into Wheatley. This leaves him open and stunned, with a blinking red tendril exposed. Shoot a portal up to another catwalk and grab the first defective core, the orange one.
Illegal. Here comes spacecraft. Here comes spacecraft. How many spacecraft? Spacecraft, help.
He likes space, I think. What even makes these guys defective? Because if the intention was to make him space-obsessed, mission accomplished, I think this one's working perfectly. Now that blue gel has entered the collapsing lair, we can use it to reach the body and attach our first corrupt core to Wheatley.
Warning. Core corruption at 50%. Vent system compromised. Neurotoxin offline. Reactor explosion in 4 minutes.
What happened? What happened? What have you palmed to me? What is that?
Wheatley continues to yap at and taunt us, but I don't care anymore. I'm here to redirect these bombs into his fucking head.
Quick, what's the situation? Oh, hey, pretty lady.
The next corrupted core, the green core, which we grab off the broken catwalk using the blue jump gel, seems to be all about adventure. And misogyny.
I don't want to scare you. I'm an adventure sphere, designed for danger. Why don't you go ahead and have yourself a little lady break, and I'll just take it from here.
Warning. Core corruption at 75%. Reactor explosion timer destroyed. Reactor explosion uncertainty emergency preemption protocol initiated. This facility will self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Fantastic. Through Wheatley's incessant ranting tantrum, we send explosives to him one last time. The pink core burst through the room, knocking over several walls and spilling orange gel all over the place, which allows us to use this perfect length runway to gain momentum, shoot ourselves into the air and grab it, as it dispatched facts that are incredibly incorrect.
To make a photocopier, simply photocopy a mirror. The square root of rho is string. The moon orbits the Earth every 27.32 days.
Warning. Core corruption at 100%. Manual core replacement required.
Oh, I see.
Substitute core. Are you ready to start? Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
What do you think?
Interpreting vague answer as yes.
No. Didn't pick up on my sarcasm.
Stalemate detected.
See, it's like poetry. Because it rhymes. This game, this franchise even, uses important story beats to teach us in-game mechanics. Pretty beautifully, I might add.
Fire detected in the stalemate resolution annex. Extinguishing.
Oh, that just cleans right off, does it? Well, that would have been good to know a little earlier.
Stalemate resolution associate. Please press the stalemate resolution button.
Do not press that button. Do not do it! I forbid you to press it! Don't press that button!
Just like earlier, we are asked to act as a stalemate resolution, with the responsibility of literally pressing the big red button. Portal 2 is significantly longer than Portal 1, which is to be expected from a big sequel, but you don't really think about how good of a fake out it is. Stopping GLaDOS in this game takes place about the same time as it would have in the previous, so it's not uncommon to assume the game would end there, which not only makes Wheatley's betrayal more effective, but also delving into the rabbit hole of what once was Aperture. We learn a horrid story about Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, how the company was founded and fell from grace at the hands of a megalomaniac, who, on a whim, won an auction for moon rocks that would set this plot in motion. Not just with developing portal technology, but also him getting sick enough to spend his last days ordering the lab boys to cook up intelligence backup technology. Then he died. Maybe some of him made it into that robot, but at the end of the day, it was his assistant who was dragged into there kicking and screaming, where she was cursed to live in this robot body for eternity against her will. She can't die, you know. She'll never die. That screaming mural from earlier is starting to make a lot more sense now.
Come to part 5! Movie trap, the stalemate button! What? Are you still alive? You are joking! You have got to be kidding me! Well, I'm still in control, and I have no idea how to fix this place. Oh, you had to play bloody cat and mouse, didn't you? While people were trying to work. Yeah, well now we're all gonna pay the price, because we're all gonna bloody die.
Throughout this game, our minds have been subtly pushed towards solving puzzles and overcoming obstacles with the lack of portal surfaces. When you don't know what to do, but you see a singular portalable wall, you're inclined to shoot a portal at it. And now as we sit here, unable to move our body any more than aiming our gun, after everything we learned down in the buried mines, and the only thing that's changed about this ruined lair is a view of the moon.
Space! Ah! Ah! Let go! We're in space! Ah, let go! Let go! I'm still connected! I can pull myself in! I can still fix this!
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans! Hold on to me! Tighter! Ah! Grab me! Grab me!
I have played this game so many times and beaten it so many times since 2011, and still to this day, every time I play through it, every time I get to that moment, chills. Did you know you could fuck with it? Like, the orange portal is beneath Wheatley for him to get sucked out, and regardless of which one you choose, the blue portal always ends up on the moon. But the scene still activates if you shoot an orange portal on the moon, basically placing two portals on top of each other. A real one and a cinematic one. You can even see them overlap better when you're in space.
Space! Ah! Ah! Let go! We're in space! Ah, let go! Let go! I'm still connected!
Anyway.
Oh, thank God, you're all right. You know, being Carolyn taught me a valuable lesson. I thought you were my greatest enemy, but all along you were my best friend. The surge of emotion that shot through me when I saved your life taught me an even more valuable lesson, where Carolyn lives in my brain.
Carolyn, delete.
Goodbye, Carolyn. You know, deleting Carolyn just now taught me a valuable lesson. The best solution to a problem is usually the easiest one. And I'll be honest, killing you is hard. You know what my days used to be like? I just tested. Nobody murdered me, or put me in a potato, or fed me to birds. I had a pretty good life. And then you showed up, you dangerous, mute lunatic. So you know what? You win. Just go. It's been fun. Don't come back.
Even though this feels like a finale, and don't worry, it is, because the game has duped us so many times, we never stop being on edge. I mean, this monologue alone has two twists. She instantly deletes Carolyn, and then you think she's going to go back to being a psycho, but then she just lets you go. And you may think this is a dark ending, funny, but dark, where nothing you did or learned really meant anything. But if you think about it, Carolyn is free. Maybe she just deleted the memory of Carolyn. Maybe in some ways GLaDOS still has parts of her within, but at the end of the day, we know that Carolyn no longer has to live this waking nightmare, and GLaDOS no longer needs to remember the truth. All that's left is a robot who can test freely with other robots forever. But for us, for the player, for Shell, we finally get to leave. Again, that is until one final twist. Classic GLaDOS shenanigans. We're met face to face with 4 turrets, no portal surface in sight, our back against the wall, preparing for the worst. And then... once again we are met with a relatively simple ending that, while fulfilling, still leaves us with a lot of questions. We got what we wanted. Shell has escaped the testing facility, never to return. But what now? I mean, if this is in fact the same universe as Half-Life, I got some bad news for you on the outside. But even beyond that, beyond the confines of this game, after Portal 2 has ended, what is this game's lasting legacy? I mean, aside from BAFTA Game Critic and Spike Video Game Awards.
Oh! I won! This is amazing, I can't believe it! Oh, this is huge for me. It was obviously a team effort. He's not on my team, I don't know who that is. Let's see, who to thank, so many people. No one actually, just me, there's no one to thank.
Award is launched.
This is it, after all this time I'm going home. I'm going bloody home. I can't believe and off I go. Don't even get to keep the trophy, of course. Well, maybe next year.
Still to this day, Portal is regaled as one of the greatest game series of all time, as both of its games are held up as two of the best individual games of all time. And if you don't know a whole lot about Portal and half expected this video series to stretch on forever, you may be shocked to hear 2 games. Sure, we have flash games and spin-offs and non-canon tech demos about the severed head of former Aperture owner Cave Johnson, but Portal lives on today in its dedicated modding scene, with fan projects like Portal Stories Mel being so well regarded they have their own place in the franchise's history. I've said before that Portal 2 is my favorite game of all time, and that is still true. If I have no limitations for how many games per franchise I can place, my current actively changing ranking of top 5 is Portal 2, Mario Galaxy, Portal 1, Mario 64. And then the 5th alternating infinite multiplayer slot varies depending on if I'm in my Smash Bros, GTA, or Minecraft phase. But focusing on that concept, games I could play forever, desert island games. Mario 64 and Portal 2 will never run out of playable content, not just because they're fantastic, but because the wide array of custom maps can last you a lifetime. There is, however, one game that could technically be categorized as the closest we'll ever get to Portal 3. But that game isn't a fantastic mod or a first-person puzzle game inspired by everything Portal did. It's actually a game I have nothing but disdain in my heart for. But before I get to that, we have a lot more ground to cover. And that's just scratching the surface. We technically haven't even done everything there is to do in this game. And that's just scratching the surface. We still haven't technically done everything, seen everything there is to see in my favorite game of all time. Some would say the best game of all time. We're just hitting the top. But to consume the multiplayer content, we need another player. And I'm alone. Again. The couch was a figment of my imagination and insecurity, so was the cat. That's a good excuse. A big part of me getting obsessed with this game again, when I got a little older as a kid, was the YouTuber Harry101UK. He would make song parodies and animations using the cast and concepts from Portal 2, which took me an embarrassingly long time to learn that these were actual songs. And don't even get me started on the 2017 Portal 2 fan musical, where all of the robots, especially the cores, are played by human actors, and the actor for Wheatley made the decision to play it as and dress like David Tennant's run as the Doctor.
There are tests you see, and it's you I want to do a bit of testing with me.
There was like a month period where I would listen to this every day on the ride to school. Great times. God, I love this game, and I wish I could show you all how much I also love its multiplayer, but for right now, it's just me here. Wait a minute. There actually might be... So I didn't even think about this. All right, hold that thought. I'll be right back. I just gotta check out something in the closet, but I promise I will be right back. So like, we're all good, right? You give me the box as a present for letting you know the location of the red one. It's not like I was harboring him or anything. I mean, technically, if we're being honest, you guys put him here under my watchful eye, right? Listen, I don't know how they found you, or how they got you to me, or even how they transfer stuff inside of this. I don't pretend to understand any of it, but no hard feelings, right? I mean, we're on the same page right now. We're on the same team still. We all work for the same master. I'm gonna take your silence as a definite yes. It's that time of year again, time for another embarrassing ultra karaoke. Well, here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Remember when you tried to kill me twice? Oh, how we laughed and laughed. Except I wasn't laughing. Under the circumstances, I've been shockingly nice. You want your freedom, take it. That's what I'm counting on. I used to want you dead, but now I only want you gone. She was a lot like you, maybe not quite as heavy. Now little Carolyn is in here too. One day they woke me up so I could live forever. It's such a shame the same will never happen to you. You got your short, sad life left. That's what I'm counting on. I'll let you get right to it. Now I only want you gone. Goodbye, my only friend. Oh, did you think I meant you? That would be funny if it weren't so sad. Well, you have been replaced. I don't need anyone now. When I delete you, maybe I'll stop feeling so bad. Go make some new disaster. That's what I'm counting on. You're someone else's problem. Now I only want you gone. Now I only want you gone. Now I only want you gone. I've kind of lost the franticness of last time because a lot has changed. I've been trying to keep it up to really keep up my mad scientist look, but whenever it goes down, I'm like Kubrick. I gotta really lean into the Kubrick of it all. I need wider eyes is the issue if I want to pull that off. Drastic changes to my appearance, more coming soon, probably.